This is Josiah Plays Dungeons & Dragons. This is Beneath the Yawning Portal, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, a 5th edition heavy RP campaign, and with me are some of my players, Nox, Scito, and Manda. And we will start with the recap of the previous session, chronicled for us by Nox. You want to read it, or do you want me to?
I'm good either way.
Alright, I'll save my voice then. You can read it.
Okay. While the party had their own events leading them to the cellar, Midge had hers. After she had come up the well, Danae stared at her and broke Valgara's hold over her mind, leaving Midge aware of what was happening. Valgara met with Danae on the second tier, who again mentioned that there was more to what Midge was carrying than what she knew, that there was a beast within her waiting to be released, and she could help her release it. Valgara was intrigued and accepted, drinking a foul-like substance from a stone goblet, which ended up breaking the rest of Valgara's hold over her. Danae and Midge went into the back rooms, where Midge went on a spirit journey, shifting through a myriad of beast forms as the spirits pulled her in all directions, seemingly insistent on showing her every animal in existence. Finally it slowed, and Midge felt a connection with the moon, as many druids do. Her shifting felt stronger, and she seemed to be able to communicate telepathically while in beast form, indiscriminately broadcasting to all creatures around her. Regaining consciousness, Midge found she could still shift between forms easily, though not back to her own. Until Danae's potion had fully worked itself through her, the spirits would continue to cling to her and their effect would remain. She enjoyed this time to herself, the hours passing while frolicking in the back room in a variety of animal forms suited to her whims. Eventually, she heard a familiar dwarven voice booming with thaumaturgical might, and wondered what shenanigans her companions were getting up to this time. Emerging, she saw them all head into the cellar, and no one in the tavern decided to stop the giant brown bear from padding through the common room and slipping down with them. By the time the ceremony of raised dead was complete, Midge had turned into a crocodile, which unsettled the cow nearby. Everyone else was unsettled by the blackened soul coughed up by the noble's corpse, staring at them with hatred. Sardick stubbornly continued trying to get it back into the body for a moment longer, as everyone else realized things had taken a terrible turn. Rasavi offered quick thanks for being able to observe, and said he was sure they had the situation handled, as a mystical phrase whisked Rasavi and Adamus away. Ara noticed Shadowcleave, the necrotic great axe on Sardick's belt, pulsing the same dark energy as the blackened soul, and screamed out that the axe was corrupted before charging up into the tavern. She pushed baby Varys upon Durnan, who was displeased to hear about the spectral horror in his basement. Roscoe and Azar, both arcanists in their own right, considered Ara's words and worked their craft upon the axe. Azar dispelled some of Shadowcleave's necrotic aura, while Roscoe used the King in Yellow to leech and entrap some of the dark energies. Sensing this disruption, the blackened soul emitted a wave of malice, making Azar, Katrin, and the cow shrink away in fear, before it emitted a terrible psychic scream, sending a lance of pain through everyone who could hear. Katrin raged in her fear and tried hurling a dagger at the soul, which missed due to her shaking hands. Midge, defeated as a crocodile, rose again as a giant elk and charged the blackened soul, which tauntingly separated into two for a moment, causing her to pass harmlessly through it. Sardick was having a bad day. Not only was the benevolent act of raising the dead thwarted, but it had released a thing of evil that threatened everyone. Worse still, his gaze landed on the cow, who had been killed by the psychic scream. He would tolerate it no more. Removing Shadowcleave from his belt, he let it float to the floor, letting the arcane savvy deal with it as they would. Striding purposefully to the center of the room as he prepared to spiritually wrestle the blackened soul, he glowed momentarily with a divine light, becoming a beacon of hope in opposition to the dark spirit's energies, as the lowing of celestial cattle impeded the effectiveness of the dark spirit's abilities. Seeing Shadowcleave falling to the floor, Azar stared at it and saw the exact point where the dark enchantments were linked, and brought his arcane will down upon it, severing them for good. The great axe's darkened edge suddenly flared into light, blossoming with a radiant energy instead, and Azar declared that Shadowcleave was no longer supplying the dark spirit with energy. Aura dashed back into the tavern, and seeing the blade resting radiantly on the ground, called out to try using it on the abomination. With the blackened soul still hovering as menacingly as ever, despite their cleansing the weapon, Roscoe called out asking if they were going to kill it, to which Sardick answered that it had killed a divine agent, and therefore its life was forfeit. Nodding, he coalesced darkness into a shadow blade, running up and stabbing into its form, but it passed through harmlessly. Chuckling darkly at the attempt, the spirit exuded another wave of malice, causing Roscoe to cower in fear next to it, and Aura to hesitate near the stairs, while also tearing into everyone's minds with an otherworldly scream. Seeing Roscoe terrified next to it, Katrin charged forward and slashed right between its eyes, but again the blade passed through harmlessly. Growling with rage, she started drawing out Roscoe's old silvered rapier instead. Midge tried grazing it with her elk horns, which the dark spirit tauntingly evaded, and her frustration caused her to lose hold and shift into the form of a polar bear. Standing there as a beacon and staring down the blackened soul, Sardick came to realize that if it were to be killed, the noble would be resurrected, but his soul would forever be tainted in some way, madness or evil or something worse. He decided this couldn't be allowed to pass, and in searching for a solution, remembered the rites of tolling the dead he had participated in at the start of his clerical training, and used those as the basis for a ritual that would allow the noble soul to enter the afterlife untainted. Calling out his intentions, he began the ritual, and worked in quick words praising his goddess, which sent a wave of recuperative energy to the party. Azar was also studying the spirit once Shadowcleave had been cleansed, and deduced that the might of its psychic screams was directly tied to the strength of its corporeal form. Telling everyone this, he extended his hand and launched a firebolt at it, which actually seemed to burn away a bit of its shadow. With this knowledge, Aura turned her fear into cunning guile, hiding by the stairs as she launched a volley of magic missiles at it, each one smiting the creature and weakening it. Roscoe fought against his own fear, drawing energy from the King in Yellow, and urged anyone in the way to step aside just before everyone's minds were again assaulted by the abomination's screams. As Katrin and Midge moved around the spirit to give Roscoe room, they assaulted it with silver rapier and polar bear tooth and claw, severing pieces of darkness from it that melted away. Sardick continued to chant, separating the pure soul from the arcane taint, and the force of his words sent a stronger restorative wave through the party. Azar smote the blackened soul with another firebolt, while Aura hid at the top of the stairs, fighting against the spirit's terrifying presence. Roscoe, still clutching the King in Yellow and shaking off his own terror, recalled a particular passage from the book. With the path for his magics clear, he attempted to make it feel what it was doing to them by blasting it with a cone of fear, but the horrifying image of the King in Yellow that it was forced to see only made it chuckle as it assaulted everyone with its psychic screams, which seemed a little weaker after the party's effective attacks. Feeling the tide of battle turning as Sardick continued praying and restoring life energy, Azar blasted it with another firebolt. Midge clawed at it, Katrin and Roscoe sliced it with their swords, and Aura crept down the stairs before releasing a volley of as many magic missiles as she could muster, making the blackened soul's form flicker with weakness. Finally, Sardick completed the ritual with a farewell benediction, and the quasi-mythal lost its grip on the soul as the remnants of darkness whisked away, leached into Nevermore. The creature left behind one burning blue eye that shrank down to the size of a marble and slowly floated near the floor, which Aura collected in a vial. The soul of the noble materialized for a moment, glowing with the beatific radiance of someone at great peace, and thanked them for setting him free before he ascended in a column of light. His original body remained behind, inert, effectively in a permanent state of gentle repose. Sardick tried to sense any remnant left of the raised dead spell, but found none, so he solemnly gently reposed the cow and recollected the radiant Shadowcleave. Examining the contents of the vial, Azar recognized that what the blackened soul had left behind was a mote of torment, a magical remnant that, if absorbed into the eye, would allow a stinging edge into the person's words, permanently granting them the ability to viciously mock. Aura's arcane interest was piqued as she pulled out the two motes from the air elementals, and with this knowledge realized that they were motes of the winds, which could be inhaled for the permanent ability to cast Gust. Azar expressed his desire to use these motes, as much of his powers were inaccessible without his spellbook, but Aura added that she might like to learn new spells, and that they should wait for Midge to be able to talk. At the mention of her name, Midge suddenly came up between them, telepathically broadcasting the fact that she was able to talk. Her concentration on her form slipped as she spoke, causing her to shift into several animal forms, as she said that she had been learning a great deal lately, and didn't know how much more she could deal with. Understanding, Aura put the 3 vials into her pack, and Midge finally settled as a bat upon Aura's shoulder. She couldn't resist shifting into a few more cute forms, enjoying the reactions of delight from the rest of the party. Azar and Aura especially enjoyed her being a guinea pig, and they happily led the way into the tavern. Sardick lagged behind a moment, gently patting the head of the fallen cow before coming up the stairs. Catcher noticed and began stoking the fires of his remorse by reminding him that there was a food shortage in the portal, and they would surely harvest the cow for food. When he reminded her that there wasn't any beef on the tavern menu, she joked that now there was. Other party members mused that since it was dead, the cow might want to be eaten so others could sustain themselves, but Sardick told them that one may imbibe themselves only upon the dairy of the cow, never the flesh, mentioning a great calamity that occurred when beef was eaten. Not getting the gist, Katrin asked Sardick if he would be angry with her if she ate some of the cow, and his priestly patience snapped. He turned on her with the venom of his old sailor days and crafted the greatest insult he could think of for her, telling her that if she did that, he would see why she and Valgara were truly a match for each other. Katrin was taken aback, revealing that it stung, and Sardick mirrored her reaction in an attempt to get her to realize what her words were doing as well. Azar pulled her aside and reminded her that it wasn't actually a cow, but Khalim, but she didn't recognize a difference since his form remained bovine. Midge cheerfully broadcasted with a guinea pig's voice that there was nothing to worry about because she and Sardick could easily create enough food for everyone, with the stipulation that the cow's corpse be left unharmed. She didn't get a chance for much feedback, as Aura suddenly was thrown to the floor when Midge's form shifted into a kangaroo. She took the accident happily, rising to her feet, and went to retrieve baby Varys from Durnan, but found him with Arlo Butterbarrel, who was marveling at how much food he could eat. Durnan was nearby, and gruffly asked what happened in the basement. Azar came over with Sardick and Midge the kangaroo, explaining that the situation with the noble was resolved, but the cow was dead in the basement, and they wanted to negotiate a deal for not eating it. Durnan asked if they killed it down there, to which Sardick talked about its sacrifice for their safety. He questioned that it was a person before, and Midge broadcasted to the tavern that all animals are people inside, which got a bunch of odd stares. Changing the subject, Durnan asked if they could throw the noble's corpse down the well since it was dealt with, to which Azar suggested that since it was under a permanent state of non-decay, it could be kept as a curio. Durnan considered this, but realized that the noble's family would appreciate his body being returned to them, so he decided to just leave it where it was. Talk returned to the cow, and Durnan realized that they were requesting that they not eat it. He asked what they planned to do, and Sardick revealed his intentions of revivifying the cow, once he had yet another diamond to do so. He refused to allow him to store the dead cow in the basement, insisting that they bring it with them if they didn't want it eaten. Azar mentioned that the creatures in the dungeon might try to eat it instead, but Durnan refused to recognize it as his problem. Trying a different tactic, Sardick talked more about resurrections, and asked if he had made an arrangement to have Maloon Wardragon restored by Wicked Wild, but was further disappointed when Durnan revealed that he had changed his mind, and even more bitter when he realized that none other than the fellow cleric, Wicked Wild, had talked him out of it. To Sardick's further ire, he talked about bringing back someone from the dead as being unnatural, that when they died it was time for them to go, and that should be the permanent end of them. Sardick talked about the irony of it being so much easier to destroy than to create, causing Durnan to lower himself to a scandalous joke about procreation. Sardick reaffirmed the difficulty as it pertained to a particular person, their own personality and soul, but he already knew he wasn't getting anywhere. Durnan had regressed in his eyes, and he was once more up against the every man for himself mentality. Midge helpfully suggested that there were secret places in the dungeon that they could hide it, which was broadcast to everyone nearby. Mash the waiter complained of weird voices in his head, and the kangaroo faced him, explaining that she was a magic kangaroo and his friend. As he was startled, Azar suggested she might want to stay quiet for a while. She agreed through a telepathic broadcast, and several more broadcasts apologizing for the previous broadcasts. Finally, a half-orc nearby bellowed for the magic kangaroo to shut up so she could drink in peace. With a mirthful apology, Midge shifted into the form of a raccoon and sheepishly hid nearby. Ara was still talking with Arlo Butterbarrel, who finished feeding the baby and returned him to her. He said it was a decent arrangement that the Drow triplets were looking after him, and reluctantly admitted he couldn't do it himself full-time, since the kitchen keeps him so busy. Realizing that he was missing his family outside the tavern, she let him know that she would be telling the trio that he could visit and take care of Varys any time he liked. This pleased him greatly, and he admitted that Ara wasn't really like the stories of dark elves that are usually told, and she happily agreed that there were some that indeed weren't so dark. Arlo cheerfully offered to make her and the rest of the party some fine food, which she cheerfully accepted, and so he disappeared into the kitchens. Sardick was feeling in the same dire straits as when he first brought the noble up the well. He was pretty sure that none of the tavern dwellers would help him, and absolutely certain no one would without a price. Thusly, he relied once again on the power of faith, and desperately consulted the prayers in the Malarcan Chronicle for some holy power he couldn't typically access but might bring deliverance. The stony pages readily shifted to clerical magic he couldn't normally access, and he discovered something he had to try. Going into the basement alone so as to only risk himself if arcane corruption took hold, he begged Hathor for a planar ally to return the fallen cow to the celestial pastures beyond. Through a blinding light came an angelic minotaur, who told Sardick that the cow's soul was actually a wicked man, but the flesh was holy, and would be given new life in the plains beyond. It came with a stipulation that Sardick follow the portents laid out for him, bring the party to the fountain of milk beneath their feet, and have each member drink from it. Sardick agreed. Khalim fell to his ultimate end, and the Minotaur and cow, frolicking with a new immaculate spirit, returned to the celestial spheres. In the silence after, Sardick was finally at peace. He returned to the common room and told Durnan that the cow had ascended beyond his blasphemous touch, and when Azar had asked what happened, he recounted what had happened, had settled in with the party to have some meat and relax after the day's endeavors. Durnan called Bonnie over to supply his order before going into the cellar to see what had happened. Azar also ordered a strong ale and thoughtfully checked with Midge the raccoon, who nodded that she wanted mead, and arranged for a bowl to be brought to her. Soon, Arlo's food was finished, and the group enjoyed fine food and drink. Azar asked if the planar ally required any sort of payment, to which Sardick mentioned the fountain of milk that could be found through the portents left for him. Ara was looking at Azar during this moment of camaraderie, and wordlessly passed him the mote of torment and a mote of the winds, deciding it was time to trust him. Gratefully, Azar used them, experiencing mild discomfort as he choked on one and slid the other into his eye, but soon felt the magic take hold. Soon afterward, Azar expressed desire to sell the items that they had harvested with the Codex Monstrum, and Sardick followed him up to speak with Danae. Azar presented the items from the ghouls, ghasts, and gricks, and after Sardick expressed his confidence of being able to dispel any more barriers that should arise, presented the pristine Elder Grickheart as well. Danae was quite amazed at this find, asking how they were able to overcome such a terrifying beast, and Azar told her about his use of polymorph to challenge the creature, in addition to the magics of everyone else in the group. She offered 500 dragons for the heart. Neither of them knew how much it would be worth, but Sardick could tell she was offering them a good price. She felt she was offering them a good price, which he was perfectly fine with. They agreed with all their prices, and ending up receiving 750 dragons for the lot. Encouraging them to keep harvesting more parts, and assurances that Midge would adjust to her situation, they headed back to their companions. The party relaxed and enjoyed the ambiance of the tavern for a while, settling back in for a good night's sleep after their efforts. Upon waking, they prepared to descend the well again.
All right, good job. That was very thorough. Very thorough recap of the last session. That is everything that happened. You're ready to descend the well again.
So did anyone decide that they...
You just realized you were muted?
Yeah, I just realized I was muted.
Nice.
Well, good job. Very thorough. That's everything that happened. You guys are ready to descend the well again. What were you saying, Will?
I was asking if anyone had decided on anything else they wanted to buy. Before, well, I guess Tiff had let me know that if there was anything we were getting, we could sort of retroactively do that. And I feel like we have a lot of money, so does anyone want to get...
I will have a lot of money.
I will, with the group's okay, purchase 200 dragons worth of inscribing ink.
Seems good to me.
I'm fine with that.
Alright, done. Just put it down on the party notes. Take off the money and put down the ink. You've got 50 on there already. Yeah, what else do you guys want? You have like 1,500 gold or something.
Sardick wouldn't mind having the Protector from Razavi, but it would effectively just be a +1 shield for him. 302 dragons, and advantage on checks to swing.
I mean, we have enough money that I think people can get some of these like first tier uncommon items without feeling bad about the cost of the group, right? Because these are in like the hundreds of gold kind of thing.
Yeah, there's several items that are like 300 or 400 gold. I think there's a nice Cloak of Protection.
Yeah, the last item for Ashlock is pretty nice. It requires attunement, but...
I just want my stuff back.
Well, you need to start accepting you might not get it back.
See,
Sorry.
see, you say that, but I can't. That's like accepting not getting 100%, not doing all the things in a video game. That's like not getting all the achievements / trophies. It's just not done.
I don't know. I kind of accept it when I don't get the achievement.
Don't
I'm like,
worry,
I'm moving on.
Your stuff has been moved down the line and is now sitting in Halaster's room on the 23rd floor. You'll get it eventually.
You'll get it during the final boss fight.
It is actually Halaster's new spell book. He only casts spells.
He's standing there
what?
using your book, yeah.
You have a secret mission, and that's to basically figure everything out without your magic and your property. The entire game.
Your strength is in you all along. You were a fighter. Actually, that's the Serendipitous Stone. I think both of those items are worth buying. I don't really know who should take each one of them, but for the cost, both of those are really good.
Yeah, I noticed those going through, and they'd really be useful for everyone. I mean, maybe, I think, what is it? The Cloak of Protection gives +1 armor. That might not be as good for Azar since he mage armors. I don't know if that would increase that above what mage armor gives, but still.
I don't think you can get the armor bonuses from multiple sources. So
I'm pretty certain Cloak of Protection will stack with mage armor. Because it's...
Okay.
Let me look it up real quick, but... I think it stacks with everything. It just doesn't stack with another... Actually, in 5th edition, it might even stack with, like, Ring of Protection.
Where's that? The lucky stone. I guess I should just look up what a stone of good luck does exactly. So +1 to ability checks and saving throws. That's pretty damn good for a couple hundred gold.
Yeah, and I think the Cloak of Protection is +1 AC and +1 saving throws.
Yeah, and it stacks with everything.
So if no one else is jumping to buy one of them, I would get one of them. But like, I think people should be jumping to get them.
Ara's not going to jump to get anything magical, because anything that she sees that doesn't require attunement she can't use, and anything that might be useful she can't even attune to.
Why can't she use things that don't require attunement?
They're just not useful to her. Or
Oh,
she doesn't
okay.
think they are.
And I have the very, very rational position of I like to hoard money.
Well, if people don't mind, I would get that stone of good luck.
Yeah, I would have no problem with that.
I think Roscoe uses skills enough that the +1 to that is going to be pretty helpful. And the +1 to saving throws helps with concentration stuff, if nothing else. So.
Yeah, that requires attunement too, but I'm sure you got that covered.
Yes, and I actually talked to Tiff, and I know this is something we had mentioned before about giving her the Necklace of Adaptation, because I don't think it really fits anyone's theme very well, except for maybe kind of hers, because it lets you save against harmful gases and vapors, which she's more likely to be exposed to in her natural environment. But I think we can just pass that over to her, and that frees up the attunement slot. And
True. And she might even like the other one that's the Cloak of Protection or something to that effect.
Although, you don't get the properties of items when you're in beast form. So, like, when she's in beast form, she wouldn't benefit from a Cloak of Protection, and since she's a moon druid now, she'll probably be in beast form a lot.
I mean, so
Literally anybody can benefit from the Cloak of Protection. It's just a matter of who you guys decide to give it to.
So I'm gonna take out the money unless someone says no right now for the Stone of Good Luck and start doing that.
Actually, Ara doesn't have an issue with that. The Treasure Hunter? It's
You
a
guys-
bag of holding.
Oh, we've
You
already
guys
got
bought
that.
that already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
It's still on the list. I was like, maybe we could use another one.
Oh no, she doesn't have another one. It stays on the list, but it's actually gone. That was the first item you guys bought. The only item you've bought so far. And now you're buying the Stone of Good Luck.
And I believe Sardick wanted a shield, which I think we should get to. I think having more defense on our Cleric is a good...
That's that one, Protector.
Also fits his character, what with the whole advantage on swimming thing.
Exactly.
And it has a pun inside the name, so...
That's so
I
true.
mean,
It does.
what do you think that's suited for?
Is there any extra cost with moving the Holy Shield emblem to that particular shield?
Nah, so you can just do it.
Okay.
Danae has potions of healing. Maybe we should go talk to her about
Actually-
getting a couple.
Let's do a count of how many we actually have. I don't even know, to be honest. It's been so long since we've worried about.
Well, if we find my stuff, I have 6 potions of healing.
Roscoe
I
has
have
3.
5.
Sardick actually has 3.
I think I gave you one at some point.
I think so too. Yeah, from I think the bugbears or such, and Midge gave Sardick 1 after the Grick fight, I believe.
I'm just thinking because at this point it's going to be harder to get back up.
That's very true. Yeah, I think buying some more would be good.
Katrin has 1.
Can I also just note that this is just something that bothers me on an OCD level? Well, the fact that the handout star spawn grew isn't in alphabetical order, it haunts me. Could we just put that in alphabetical order under creatures and monsters?
I think you shouldn't. I think you should just leave it. Drive him nuts.
This is his test. If you really want a dark book like The King in Yellow, this is how you go insane.
I mean, we could always get an alchemy jug and make 2 gallons of mayonnaise a day.
As a note, Roscoe's passive perception went up, so I don't know if you have those written down, Josiah.
I do. Yeah, what is everybody's
mine did too.
perception now?
16.
I have a 15.
15.
18.
Okay. I had them. Everybody's went up when you guys leveled up, and then Roscoe's just went up 1 more for the stone.
Yes.
All right, cool. So what all are you buying? You bought the stone. What else are you buying?
And I've already
Protector.
subtracted the gold. I'll subtract the gold for the protector now, just so that we have that written. Manda, how many healing potions do you think we should get?
I honestly, I would say if we can afford it, I would go 10 and just make sure everybody has some on their person so that way they can give to somebody if necessary or find on someone if they've been downed.
Does Midge have any on hers left?
Let me check. Hold on, I'm alphabetizing. The thing is, it's actually very difficult because you can only see a few of those handouts, but there's like 250 creature handouts. So to move it all the way down to where it needs to go, I have to slowly move it a little bit at a time and then scroll down.
Wait, aren't they in
done.
are they in a like actual like sectional file? Because I think you can right click and it lets you go from A to Z.
What?
Does nobody hear me properly?
Oh my god,
I
it
heard
does. What? Since when could you do this?
For a while, I think.
Wow, that's amazing. Alright, that should
Also-
should sort you out then.
In case it wasn't stupid
Feels
enough,
much better.
Roscoe's investigation check is now a 13. So
Oh yeah, because it went up from your expertise increasing and then also from the stone.
yeah.
I would like to point out that you guys have done so much attempts at persuading people to do things, and my persuasion is a +9.
Do you guys see 2 Star Spawn Grew handouts?
I do.
I wonder why. So do I. I guess I'll just delete one of them.
And technically, actually, Scito shouldn't even have a Starspawn Grew hand.
Well,
Yeah.
the tale was explained to me by Sardick.
Oh, that's true. And he drew a nice little picture for you. And it was that, exactly.
Exactly.
Nice.
Alright, so you guys bought the Protector and the Sahara's Serendipitous Stone.
Yes.
I worked hard coming up with alliterative names for all those wizard items.
I know we called you out, called it in a good way. Call out, I guess, has negative connotations. We have praised you for this before, but those shops are really cool.
Thanks. All right, what else are you buying? You gonna buy that Cloak of Protection? You gonna buy that Wand of Magic Missiles? You have plenty of gold, hypothetically.
I've taken out the gold for the shield and the stone, so if we're getting anything else, just let. So do you want me to take out gold for 10 potions, do you think, then? And
Oh yeah, how much do the potions cost?
49 gold.
It's very specific. Then potions of greater healing start getting pretty expensive. Are you sure you don't want a reasonably priced oil of sharpness? Only 20,000.
Nice.
I mean, she's selling speed. Is that illegal?
She's got an arrangement with the Waterdeep cops.
I see. As long as it's no more than 2 potions of speed per month, then she's okay.
Now, if you are buying some potions, I need to take them off. Because she does have a limited supply of stuff.
So do we want any of these other... So I can take off gold for the 10 potions if we want that, and we can figure out how to do it. I guess at this point, Azar, Ara, and Midge are the only ones that haven't bought anything right now, so...
So you're for sure buying 10 potions of healing?
I don't know. So Ara, you were thinking 10? Or not Ara? Well,
Yeah, I was just thinking. Yeah, I was just thinking 10 only because then you could hand out a couple, and they would be extra because it's going to be less of a chance to come back up and rest once we start going deeper, and then at least we're prepared.
All right. So that would be 490.
Yeah, I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them.
All right.
That's a good point.
So we will be down to about 200 gold after that, which means that at this point, well, I'm not saying we can't come back up to the inn, but we've basically spent our money to head down.
Wait, you'll be down to 200 gold after what?
If we spent, oh no, it wouldn't be. Wow, we'd be at 300 gold if we spent 400 gold on, or 490 gold on potion.
Oh, right, okay. Because you got the inscribing ink, the potions, the stone, and the shield.
Yes.
Does that burn up the platinum we have as well?
There's still 10 on Sardick that I haven't accounted for, which would put us up to about 400 gold. But yes, that does include our platinum.
Alright, so the gold for the potions hasn't been taken off yet. Right?
It has now.
Oh, I just saw it change. Okay, cool. Wow.
I
you guys
did it
went
wrong.
through
There
that
we go.
money.
There we go. It's supposed to be 30 platinum, not 10. So now we're good. Oh no.
You have exactly enough left
There.
to buy the cloak.
Alright, well, if no one else wants to get anything, then I think we are good. So how do we want to divvy up the potions? Roscoe has 3 on him. I'm going to put just the 10 in the bag, and if anyone wants more, then we can just take them out from there.
Katrin will take a couple.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on taking any. I think just everybody should have some. I have 5 on me, so I.
Let's get Katrin up to 3, I guess. So
Yeah,
I
so
think that's 2 for her.
She takes 2, yeah.
And then how many does Azar have right now before getting his stuff back?
None.
Right, do you want to take 3 also?
Sure.
Alright. And then does Sardick need any?
He's got 3. That should be fine. I mean, plus his magic.
Okay. Roscoe technically has access to the ones in the bag, so I don't need to take any out for me. And we'll talk to Tiff about it when she gets here.
Oh wait, yeah, did I never check Tiff's to see how many she had? I didn't. Let me see how many Midge has. Midge has 2.
Do we just want to toss one on her then, just so everyone's at 3 at least?
Yeah, just
I think
give
that's
her
fine.
one. She's up to 3.
Alright, and that leaves 4 in the bag of holding, and then at least 3 on everyone.
If I had got into Varys's stuff, we'd have 7 more.
True.
There's still 7 potions somehow melded into that little
Melted
baby.
into his persons.
Maybe you could just like wring out the baby and healing potion will come out of him. Like when the baby cries, you could collect the baby's tears and they have like healing properties.
Okay, I don't think he cries much anymore, so we'd have to do a lot of pinching of the baby.
Yeah. That would be cruel. Alright, you guys done shopping?
Azar
Yeah.
sure he doesn't want that cloak?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Okay. I think we all want a long rest again after that fight before, so that, or I don't know if that was
we
already.
said we did long rest.
Oh, okay.
You
So
got
then-
it
Yeah.
already. Yeah, so, what's your AC now with that new shield, Nox?
20.
Wow.
And then add a cloak of protection on it.
He wouldn't mind that. I mean, if we really want to do that, he would sacrifice the Coral of Faith for that, if anyone were to be interested.
I mean, Rosavi might be interested.
That's true. Coral of Faith, maybe even Katrin might want it since she has light on her shield, but
Oh, true.
it doubles your light radius, and you get to re-roll your hit die when you're spending hit dice.
Was there something about a cleric having to attune to it, or was that anyone?
No. It just had like a sort of like a divine kind of sense about it, but it was like a sort of like a darker god, I believe, was the implication of it.
Okay.
But that's sort of how he kind of got that was, so yeah, it's something divine, and you know, the portent led them to him, and that kind of.
I mean, if you're willing to let go of an item that you picked up when you were collecting things, I think it actually probably would do more good on Katrin just for the light radius.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, Sardick wouldn't mind that.
Okay. Coral of Faith. So, are you getting that cloak then?
Yeah, Sardick would take that cloak if no one minds. He'll go ahead and do that.
That's going to tap out basically all your money.
How much is it again?
It's 326.
Yikes. We're at 69 silver. We're poor again.
Sardick will put in that 10 platinum for that. That's
All right,
fine.
we got 10 platinum, 69 silver.
Alright, so yeah, put that down. That also gives you advantage on death saves, which is great for the healer. You don't want the healer to
That's
accidentally
true.
die. Of course, you have multiple people in the party that can cast heals, so... But he's the main healer, obviously. Alright, so yeah, put that down on your sheet. I'll put down the Coral of Faith for her. Katrin says, thanks. Oh, I really like the fact that I can make the light bigger.
Tends to be pretty dark down there, doesn't it? So, yeah, it's a good thing for you.
She's the one that
Indeed.
doesn't have infrared. Or actually, oh no, Azar does have dark vision with his familiar, right?
Yep.
Okay. And what was the other thing that it did, Sardick, or Nox, other than doubling the light radius?
You can re-roll your hit die when you're spending them to regain health, and take the greater result.
Alright, cool. So now you have a 21 AC.
This is true.
You almost have as much as Katrin, so you're like the secondary tank now. And everybody, you've rested, so you've restored all of your everything. You've got your spells prepared. Okay, you guys ready to go down?
Yay!
As
think
will
so.
ever be.
Alright. So, back to the dungeon you go, as Durnan lowers you down. Good luck down there.
Thank you, Durnan.
My thanks.
And everybody's kind of rooting for you now. Now that you guys have gone down and come up several times and you've brought back treasure and monster parts and none of you have died. They don't know that Midge died and got resurrected. So they just think none of you have died. Everybody's kind of rooting for you now. I mean, there's a few people in the tavern that are assholes that don't give a shit, but for the most part, people seem pretty excited, and they're wishing you well as you go back down. Wishing you well.
Well,
Oh.
I'm waiting for the map to load. It takes forever. This map is so much better than the one we had before, though.
You mean the artistically drawn one that was in the book?
Yeah, super artistic.
I was so disappointed with that art.
Well, that book has way too many maps. They couldn't possibly have actually had beautiful cartography for all those maps. There's too many maps. Too big of maps, too. So
And
they
why
just
worry
went with
about quality
minimalist.
with your products?
They knew people would buy it anyway. It's a nice book, though. I own the physical book of this, and it's a nice book. And it contains an enormous amount of content, so it's certainly worth the money, even without beautiful maps.
I will say I own the book and I have yet to open it. Because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself.
That makes sense. After you guys finish level 1, you could read level 1 in your book and see how much different my version was. Alright, well, you guys make it back down to the bottom of the well. So, Katrin's now putting out how much light? Because she's the only person carrying a light source, right?
yes.
So, now it's 20 feet of bright light and 20 more feet of dim light that she's putting out from her shield.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. He says, thanks for giving this to me, Sardick. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. May it serve you well.
You're not going to ask me to marry you, are you?
I think I'll pass on that for a little bit. I mean, I I doubt Falgar would be pleased with a proposal. Even a modest one.
A modest one, nice.
Oh,
She says that
God.
the only person who ever gave me a gift before was Valgara, and she wanted me to marry her.
Really? What did she give you, by the way?
Oh, she gave me a nice cloak and some boots and...
Well, that was rather nice of her.
I guess. I really regret getting involved with her. She looks over at Midge. Midge is possessed, but... Midge is still under the effects of that, like, weird hallucinogenic thing. Or maybe she's not, actually, because you guys took a whole other rest, didn't you?
Yes, it was already 9 hours in, I believe, when the cellar incident occurred. So then there would be another 8 on top of that, plus resting, plus, you know...
Oh yeah, that's right. I think I
activities.
told her she had 5 hours left on it. So she has 5 hours left on the weird potion thing, where she can't change back to her normal form. Speaking of which, are you guys casting anything?
Yeah, once they're out of the Mythal, Sardick will gather some people around and... once again, I think it's wise, but with the blessing of the nurturing mother, may you be beefy.
May you be beefy.
And he'll invoke aid at level 4. That'll be upon Aura, Azar, and Roscoe.
15 hit points?
Yes.
Wow, I feel like I went to the gym and got swole.
How long does it last?
8 hours.
So that's Aura, Azar, and Roscoe?
Yes.
Alright, so you guys have plus 15 extra hit points. And... what do? You're back in the dungeon. Katrin says, you know, it's kind of weird, but I'm actually kind of glad to be back down here. This place is starting to feel like home, almost. We've spent so much time down here.
It feels like we're moving forward, which feels good. I get a bit antsy sitting up there like we're not doing.
Especially with that malfunctioning Mythal dealing with making spells go awry. That's a terrible thing that's happening.
I just wish I had my book so I could study it a bit more.
I guess that brings up the question of what we're going to do. The vampires up north didn't really want to see us again until we've taken out 3 camps, and we've only taken out 2. We could try to find another.
Well, no, that's not actually true. I think it was that they really wanted that first bugbear camp taken down, perhaps the second one, but I would think they would be willing to see us after that.
So I guess we do have that direction to explore. And that doesn't really help with your books, though, does it, Azar?
No, not really.
This green throne, though, I get the sense that it must be lying in the north. We've been practically everywhere else.
Well, I think it was behind a secret door, and we did find a secret door in that room with the elevator. It could potentially be that one where the dust came up to speak to us. Or...
well, if you really want, I could attempt to locate it.
or maybe later in the day. We don't really know what other challenges we're going to face. So...
Speaking of facing things later, It might be wise to go up north and, well, see what Red Saber might be up to while we have our full strength.
You're right, we don't really know what they're up to at this point either. They've been down here, what, 2 nights now? In addition to whatever they did before, so maybe 3 nights.
Yes.
They could really be.
It is a bit unsettling that we haven't heard of them during all this time.
Roscoe's arm is sort of going to have its shadow peel off again, and Nevermore is going to sort of form onto his hand with like a little bit of like this like eerie caw sort of thing. And I'm just going to actually like send Nevermore to the Pillars room just to see if he can find anything up there as we discuss.
Alright, so Nevermore flies over to the room with the pillars, and nothing appears to have changed.
Okay.
You see the dead bodies of those 3 goblin gloomstalkers and the 3 juvenile goblins, and the decapitated body of Janie the Bugbear is still there.
Okay, so looks like we're a little bit clear. We're clear for a little bit up ahead at least. But we should be on.
As he's scouting with Nevermore, Sardick will use the Malarican Chronicle to rotate aid for a different spell.
Okay. Katrin says, so, which way are we going?
I do really think we should head north. The portents are leading that way. I've been informed that there's something good, quite good at the end of that trail, something we're meant to find.
Well, we aren't even sure we could get into that door in the elevator room yet. I mean, we at least know there's new stuff north, and it could lead further down. Alright, I think north is fine. Maybe we don't go through the secret passage. Well, I don't know, actually. There is a secret door right here. It looks like the way is clear up towards the pillar room.
We also don't know if the magic on the other side of the secret is expelled.
That's true, the Elder Rune that was upon it.
Maybe we just go the safe way then?
It's probably best. I mean, there is the sign, the correct pillar there that indicates that it's something north from that direction, so surely that would be safe passage.
Ara also mentions, after she had muttered the whole Red Saber thing, that we might want to be careful of the vampires because it's possible that they made a similar deal with.
You're right.
That's a good point, but...
Do we have a way to deal with vampires? What is it that we actually can do about them if it comes to a fight?
Ingredients.
Imagine they should be quite susceptible to the power of faith turning them from attacking us.
True. It was never really my forte, I guess, with that type of knowledge. If you feel comfortable that you can handle it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I believe so.
Katrin says, aren't you supposed to use, like, wooden stakes or something? I don't have any wooden stakes.
I guess we should have petrified that cow.
Nice. Well, we don't have wooden stakes, but I mean, I do have these iron spikes and these other pythons, these climbing implements here. Got 12 of them here.
Oh, you do have some iron spikes and hey, do you have anything else like that?
Now let me see here. He's just going to kind of look through and, He'll rummage through his pack and, I got the tinderbox. Well, you know about the tinderbox, and I've got my mining supplies and all that type of stuff.
Would arrows work? I actually have 20 of them and find myself unable to use a bow right.
I do have this bag of ball bearings as well.
That would work actually quite well. Could I perhaps borrow those ball bearings for a time?
The bearings? Yeah, sure, that's no problem. Sardick will pass that to him.
Okay, fun trade between friends.
Fun trade between friends. All right. So now what?
I guess we go north, but through the pillar room.
All right. So yeah, nothing seems to have changed in the pillar room since you were last there.
Sardick studies the cracked pillar in the north of the room. Kind of lays a hand on it, inspecting it.
It definitely looks as though it was rammed, and you see, like the rubble that broke off the pillar is pointing in a straight line north, and you even detect a tiny bit of gray fur.
Does anyone have any idea what Big Ear's watch post could possibly mean, though? Azar is still very concerned with his belongings.
I think that would probably be the last of the goblin encampments. Is there some reason you think we need to go?
Well, that's what I heard the goblinoids who stole my belongings say. Big Ear's watch post. I assumed it was to the south where they were heading, but...
Sounds like a camp where they have war elephants or something like that.
War elephants would have a hard time navigating these hallways, but it's possible. Huh. I guess that could work. Maybe down a floor or two. Either way, I don't think it was anywhere that we've explored so far. It's possible that it connects to the air elementals, but I don't know. I guess
Okay, so you guys were told, and I believe you were told this by the Goblin Skull Hunters. You were told there were 3 watch posts on this level, called Warg's Eye, Gricksnack, and Big Ears.
So we can be pretty confident that this last one is where... Well, unless we've missed Scito stuff in one of the camps, but...
And you know that the one where you found Janie was the Warg's Eye watch post, which is also the one that the Undertakers wanted you to get rid of.
Oh, they just wanted us to get rid of one. I know that was said before. For some reason in my head, they wanted us to get rid of all 3 of them. I'm sure they'd be happy if we got rid of all 3 of them. Okay. Well, I guess my guess would be that it's then over in this area here that we haven't explored, but that's not really much space for it. Unless it is further down past this door that we couldn't get through before. But we've kind of exhausted every other entrance in this. So I guess do we want to finish the exploration of the bottom thing before we go north, or head north?
I think heading north would be the way to go. I'm sure that green thorn's got to be up there somewhere. It just makes sense. It just feels right.
But if there's not that much more to explore to the south, why not finish that exploration off first and then head north? Be comprehensive.
And what if the entrance entrance to go down to this level is that way. We're gonna miss out. Plus, we also have a map that we can finish as well.
That is true. We do know of a way down further south from there. Well, that we couldn't get to.
I honestly think at the very least, given dealing with the vampires, the fact that Red Saber's down here as well, I think we should probably check in with vampires. Since we're closer to them right now, the south,
true.
I think that might be a good idea.
That is a good point.
That's my-
And perhaps warn them of them or something to that effect. I mean,
We'll see if
Assuming-
they've met with Red Saber. They might give us information on their location.
that's a good point as well.
They might know where the Green Throne is, says Katrin.
Actually, you might be right there. That is apparently their domain up there.
I just think it's a good idea to finish up with our deal with them or further down south. I mean, we may find the entrance to the next level north, but I think we should at least follow up with them. So, because for all we know, Red Saber could have met them and be like, "Yeah, we killed a bunch of bears." She kind of cringes at the idea of dead.
Katrin says, hey, they could have taken credit for all the goblins we killed.
Exactly.
They do seem the sort, lying and duplicitous. All sorts of mean things.
Well, I guess I'm pretty sold on North, because really we have a lot more to explore there, and if we're down here for a while, we probably want to get a bigger chunk of the dungeon explored than just that little.
I just want my pants back. I miss the crotch space.
I would have given you those pants from before, but we ended up burning them in that huge fight before.
That was awesome. Katrin says, don't worry, Azar, you look very pretty in those clothes.
I just want my clothes and my spell book.
Is this a persuasion check?
No, it's just whinging.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel like Scito just doesn't know how to play anything but a
But a what?
Revenant. He's so very one-track mind. Revenge, my clothes.
He's like the revenant of his stuff.
Like, I know the direction of my clothes. It's south.
I can feel myself getting closer.
That's true.
If I could have that power, that'd be great.
If Azar dies without getting his stuff back, he's definitely becoming a revenant.
Nice.
They made me go north. Why? Alright, are we good to go north though? Is that okay with you, Scito?
Just as long as you promise we don't leave this level until we found my stuff.
Oh, definitely not.
For all
make that
we
promise.
know, the Mad Mage has your stuff.
I'm willing to believe, maybe against hope, that there's only a certain level of divering going on here. A specific level of divering.
Well, to be fair, and Ara says this, and she tries to say it calmly because she knows she's been a jerk for the most part. She's like, just to be fair, we started something for the vampires well before we met you. And I think we should probably really just check in.
Yes, that makes sense.
But I promise that we'll try to find your stuff. I'll even help.
Maybe the vampires have your stuff.
Or
Does
it's like,
Katrin.
I'll even help fireballs it by accident when there's the next big room of goblins.
Oops. Well, at least you still have my clothes.
In that case, I believe that would actually, it would physically cause me to play the no sound effect.
Roscoe, as everyone is just like sitting there, like with like a seizure, dumb look on their face because we've been talking out of character for so long. Roscoe snaps out of it. He's like, "Oh, north, right? We're walking."
All right, so Katrin's walking along behind Roscoe. She wants not to be the one that falls in any pits.
Oh, hey,
So
Midge.
Midge is in this crazy state where she's still under the effects of this bizarre, like, hallucinogen druid drink that she drank. What? And she's also possessed at the same time, so like Valgara is trying to fight with the effects of this, and she's just like shifting between different forms. It doesn't seem to be able to control herself.
Maybe not first then. Sardick, would you care to walk with me?
Certainly. My faith will help me to avoid any pits that might appear here.
Yeah, Sardick has pretty good perception too. Roscoe's is actually getting up there. It's much better than it used to be.
If I can hit level 6 in Rogue and get expertise in perception, then no
I mean-
more pits for Roscoe.
Would
That would be
Sardick
handy.
even really fall down the pit? Wouldn't he just stick to the pit's cover as it flaps down or whatever it does?
I tried suggesting that. That didn't quite work.
No, he has to be actively using that property of the boots. Otherwise, he would just be stuck to the ground all the time.
All right.
So, you guys are heading where? North from the pillar room?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You don't see anything of particular interest yet. You get up to that T-junction. You still see the trail of bloody footprints from all the bloodbath in the pillar room, and the red saber obviously walked through the blood and was walking this way. So you still see their trail of bloody footprints.
And there's only one trail of bloody footprints?
Well, no, there's multiple footprints of different sizes.
Are they going one way?
They all turn and head to the east. But now it's starting to die out because the blood is starting to get worn off their boots by now. But yeah, it heads to the east.
Yeah, Sardick will continue along to the east and kind of keep an eye out for things.
Alright. You see a familiar hallway. You were here before, so this is the way that you went to meet with the Undertakers. What do you do?
Okay, yeah, he'll go up toward the room there where they had met with them, and he'll approach the door.
Alright. What's everybody else doing?
As a quick note, can I just send Never? You can deal with this later, but I'm just gonna send Nevermore to the Grick room just to like check in on the state of that room so that we know. But Roscoe's gonna be walking with.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm staying behind Sardick.
Alright, well, Nevermore doesn't discover anything of note.
All right, that is good.
It looks pretty much just the way you left it.
Roscoe will recall Nevermore to his shoulder.
And the door to the room where you met, the Hall of Three Lords is what it's called in Roscoe's book. And it has the three big statues of like 6-foot tall statues of male, they look like human, like Waterdevian nobles clad in decorative plate armor, and you see like carvings at the base of each statue. You also see, just to remind you what's in the room basically, as Katrin kind of moves up and her light's shining in there. Of course, you're looking in there with dark vision, so you can see with your dark vision. You can see a skeleton laying at the base of the middle statue, and amongst the bones of the skeleton, you see two pieces of what looks like a broken staff made of white wood. Let me see what else is in this room of note. It looks like... Well, okay. I'm kind of burying the lead here. The most relevant thing you see in the room... See if I can... The most relevant thing you see in the room is a bunch of dead bodies. You see what look like a bunch of dead undertakers who look like vampires to some of you, but those who had the good perception earlier, you recognize that they actually weren't really vampires. They were just dressed up and using makeup and prosthetics to look like vampires. However,
we're colluding with World of Darkness role players here. Be very careful.
why won't it let me?
They were LARPing.
Okay, so the one closest to the door does not, in fact, look like that. It's wearing the clothes that you recognized as the one that was calling himself, or that was being called Brother, that you interacted with some. It looks like Brother's outfit, but the actual body looks like quite a bit different. It's got like this featureless gray skin, no hair. It in fact looks like this.
Does it have the word doppelganger written over it?
It does not.
Does Roscoe know what this is?
You can make a
History check?
not history.
Bummer. Okay.
I guess it would just be a nature check, or maybe Arcana check.
Can I
But
choose
this
Arcana?
is one of the guys. Yeah, you can. So you guys remember seeing this guy and believing that he actually was a vampire. He looked like one, as opposed to being in disguise. And so now that you recognize this as being a doppelganger, which is a shape-shifting creature that takes on the guise of other races. In addition, up here you see the dead body of Uktar Kranich, who was referred to as the Master. And he looked exactly like a real vampire before too, except now he doesn't look like a vampire at all. He just looks like a dude, like a dead, normal human. He doesn't have pointed teeth or anything. And the rest all just look like the same. I don't think any of these other ones are doppelgangers. Yeah, it's just the one.
Do we see the body of the girl that we met first? I think sister, maybe?
You do not see her body. Oh, hold on. I need to uncover a little bit of... All right. So right, you see the body of Akhtar Kranich, but he no longer looks like a vampire. He just looks like a regular guy. And you see the body of Brother, who now looks like a dead doppelganger. There's a bunch of blood and stuff around in the room, but strangely enough, there's no blood trail that you can see leading out of the room. It looks like there was a fight here, but it doesn't look like any bloody boots went off any direction. There is a closed door. Actually, that door is open. That door to the north of you is actually open, but you haven't really gone in to look through it. But you can see over this way a little bit, over to the west.
I imagine Roscoe at some point like walked up to sort of inspect bodies and is in the room as we.
Yeah. Well, I was going to knock on the door, but it seems that there's no need now.
It seems like we were a little bit afraid of nothing with the whole vampire scare. I mean, that one was a doppelganger. This guy, he confuses me because he was quite convincing, but he just looks like a human now.
Katrin says, wow, they're all dead. And you can see, like, some of the distinctive arrows. Was it arrows? Did somebody have arrows? I can't remember.
I think one of Red's saber had daggers?
There was a really edgy sorcerer. Do we see some edges left around?
You do see some, you do see some edges. Look,
Nice.
well,
Like certain things are sharper than they used to be.
yeah. Just based on the injuries and stuff, these look like they were killed in the same way that the guys from the pillar room were killed. So, you see another body over there in that hallway to the west. This doorway to the east is open, and if you look down that way... You see a hallway that branches, that turns to the south, and you see another dead body in there, another dead Undertaker. It
So
doesn't
I was just
look
gonna
like...
say it.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it. I think we have seriously underestimated Red Saber.
Yeah, I mean, we just barely lived last time, and to be fair, we were exhausted when we started it, but we really need to be careful.
Apparently the Undertakers didn't seem to believe in calming people down. This is a slaughterhouse in here.
Katrin says, wow. I mean, they were bandits, and they were pretending to be vampires, but it looks like none of them actually were vampires. Or if there were any real vampires, they must have left.
Well, it always struck me odd as if there was a real vampire and we knew some were pretending, why didn't the vampire just turn the others? But this kind of confirms that.
So it was all just fake.
I guess so. Does Roscoe pick up any magic in the room, like with this broken staff or anything along the...
Yeah, in fact... Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, it doesn't look like these bandits, these Undertakers, have even been looted. They look like they still have all their stuff on them.
Oh boy, we're gonna come back into some money.
And the second thing is that wooden staff, that broken wooden staff on the floor, is weakly radiating a little bit of magic of a type that I don't know until I look something up. It is weakly radiating necromancy. The skeleton, the dead skeleton with the staff actually appears Well, you'd have to make a roll, but it doesn't appear to be a human skeleton exactly. And you can see, like I said, there is some words carved into the bases of the 3 statues, and it looks like the carved words have been sort of crossed out with chalk, and some other words have been added in chalk underneath them. So if you guys want to read those, you can let me know. And also, if you want to search the bodies of the people, you can do that.
Roscoe will go around making the searching check, maybe with Katrin's help, while other people go about that. And he'll call out the magic that he noticed in the room.
So there is also some magic radiating from Oktar Okranik's body. The Master's body has some magic.
I'll just let you know that I found it, because I got a 33 on that investigation check.
Alright, you found everything that can be found here. And with that check, you're also sure that this is a dead hobgoblin skeleton. These guys were definitely killed by Red Saber. And based on your inspection of the scene, and the fact that there's no prints, because there's blood all over, there's no boot prints with blood on them leading out of this room in any direction. What it looks like to you is they came in here, they killed these guys, they didn't even search the bodies, and then they just vanished. Like they just teleported away or something.
Huh. This seems like the Mad Mage is doing. Roscoe will kind of like point out these findings. He's doing like a little bit of like a Sherlock Holmes, like following steps until they just like stop. And he like finds like 3 or 4 of these trails and he's like, they must have teleported, but, and he like kind of pulls out his textbook on the Undermountain. He's like, but teleporting's not viable due to the mad, I think this is Halasta's doing potentially. They're not here.
What do the statues say, Ara?
Alright, so the carved words are actually appear to just be names. The one to the south says Elendron, the one in the middle says Ruathindar, and the one to the north says Onthalos. And then those have been crossed out in chalk, and new things have been written under them in chalk, but those are written in Goblin. So do you read Goblin?
If no one speaks it, I have comprehend languages.
I do speak.
You do speak Goblin?
Yep.
Alright then. The names have been crossed out, and instead in Goblin is written Smelly Bottom, Stupid Skull, and Born Toothless.
Does the chalk look new? Like, or...
No, it
like
doesn't
time
look particularly
dusted it
new.
away?
I mean, it's gotta be relatively recent, but not brand new, no.
Alright, so I'll, like, basically I just read them out loud in Goblin, and then I say what they mean so everybody knows.
So, on the bodies, you find a variety of things. Apparently I set this up in the most inconvenient way possible. Alright, how many bodies we got here? We've got... So first of all, on the dead doppelganger, whom you believe was the one called Brother. On the dead doppelganger, you find nothing. On the regular bandits, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 of them. Oh, there are 10 with that one up to the north on the stairs up there. There are 10. So I'm going to roll. I have it so that they each have a certain die roll amount of whatever, so I got to do these rolls real quick. I don't know why I did it that way instead of just writing down a specific amount. So on all of the bodies total, added up, there's 33 gold.
Alright.
42 silver and 43 copper. Then on the boss himself, there is a dagger which is glowing with magic. I mean, magic to your eyes, Roscoe, not to anyone else's. And 11 gold and 17 silver on him. Plus, he has a small obsidian gem that you think is worth 10 gold. Are you getting all this down, or do I need to slow down?
I got it. I don't have anything about the dagger just because we don't know much about it, but...
And then he has one other item. He has a small silver snuff box. It looks like a snuff box. I don't know. Are you going to open it up? It's not radiating magic.
Sure.
All right. Inside, there's an inscription on the inside lid in common that reads "Dreams." It's not magical though, and it looks like it's only worth about 5 gold.
Right,
as far
I
as
have it all down.
As far as the dagger goes, it's actually sort of a fancy-looking dagger with a pair of wings, like where the crossguard would normally be. And you know that it's magical.
Alright, Roscoe will kind of he's probably taken a while to do all this sort of stuff, but like count up all the gold, set the 2 halves of the broken staff, the dagger, and the little box with the snuff box out so people can look and see if anyone wants to wait.
What are the rest of you doing?
Well, I mean, if you want, I could try mending that staff. I don't know what good it would do, but...
It is a necromantic staff, I'll just throw that out there. It's got a bit of a energy regarding life and maybe the twisting of it. So be careful with what you do with it, but it is there if you choose to.
Did Midge just disappear?
No, she's here. But you see, Katrin is like trying to... She's like trying to calm Midge down, or like trying to get her to stop shifting. And right now, she's in the form of a rat. And Katrin's like holding the rat and is kind of like trying to like whisper to it. She's trying to animal whisper.
And you feel, through the veil of time and space, as if someone is painting this rat at this very moment.
Nice.
True. It's the great desert rat. So what do you guys do?
Hey Katrin, you use daggers? Come check this out.
Just a second. I think I can... I'm just trying to do something with Midge here.
I'm gonna toss it your way, you better be ready for it.
You're going to toss a magical item at someone?
I've had better ideas.
I mean, are you gonna try to do it through the statue?
No, I would prefer her walk over here, but...
Yeah, in case this is the magical dagger of fireballs.
I mean, if it was, it'd be good to know.
At the expense of your party members?
We just go back and rest.
So finally she stops and she puts the little rat Midge on her shoulder. And it seems to have kind of stopped shape-shifting, and it's just sitting there kind of placidly. She's kind of sitting there placidly. But it's a weird-looking little rat with its eyes that are just pure white.
And a gem on its forehead.
And a gem in its forehead, yeah.
Oh god, it's almost a carbuncle. One of the most useless of D&D monsters.
So Katrin kind of moves a little bit so that she has line of sight basically to Roscoe, and she just holds out her hand. All right, here.
Roscoe is kind of like, without even really thinking, the sort of like shadowy grasp will kind of extend from his hand shadow will detach from it and like pick up the thing and basically like carry it over and sort of like delicately offer it to her as he kind of keeps counting and sorting money.
His
Roscoe,
hand
like,
shadow breaks off? What is that?
So
Like
mage hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's using mage hand to give it to her, but kind of without realizing that that's how he's impacting the world as he's doing this.
All right.
Like, yeah,
so she's like, what the hell? Your hand? What?
He's
That's
gonna kind of
creepy.
like snap to like it's the mage hand's gonna like dissipate and the dagger's gonna like clatter to the floor. He's like, what? Oh, sorry. It's there for you, and it's kind of just sitting there at her feet.
So she picks it up. She says, that was weird.
I thought I had just walked over to give it to you. Anyway, that's for you.
Really? She's looking it out. She's checking it out. This is pretty nice. A little kind of fancy, though.
It's magical, so it's gonna do a little bit more than the normal ones that you. It could be cursed, as Azar has so conveniently projected into my mind through text. So do be careful. But
It'll be great if we get a second cursed item in Roscoe's other hand.
there we go.
I could just imagine Roscoe with two hands that are permanently in the gripped position, just waving them around.
I can't eat. I have to use the dagger for a fork.
That would suck. He says, well, thanks. Are you sure you don't want it?
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, I guess we could ask the rest of the group if they want it, but this seems to be your fighting style, and to be honest, the rapier, as much as we've been trying to get that to stick, doesn't seem as natural to you as your dagger.
Okay.
That wasn't an insult by any means. That was just, maybe you'd be more comfortable with this.
I'll try it out. She like she kind of kneels down next to this dead body to the south of this statue, and she kind of like stabs the body with it a few times.
Nice.
Well, it seems sharp. So, what else are you guys doing in this room? Or out of this room?
Sardick would take a look at the statues themselves just to sort of see what sort of creatures they are, what sort of, were they of elven make or dwarven make or that kind of thing.
Well, they just look like 3 human men in like fancy plate armor to you, but Roscoe can recognize the crests of like old Waterdeepian nobility.
Alright, I'll point these out.
So this doesn't look like it's anything of dwarven make.
Okay.
Alright, you can see this tunnel this passage kind of curves to the north.
Okay, turn order coming up. Not worrisome at all.
It's just Nevermore versus Catherine. Well, I guess we're good to keep moving. Who knows where Red Saber are at this point?
Not doing anything with the staff?
Oh, true.
Yeah, actually, after looking at the staff, Sardick would take it, and presumably as everyone's counting the money and such, he'll kind of move off, like, over here, let's say, and he'll go ahead and he'll spend the minute to mend the staff.
Ah, you're gonna try to mend it. Okay. Takes a minute?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Alright, so you do manage to mend it, and it goes back to... It's like this long branch of, like, perfectly white wood. And it does mend together. And as soon as it's mended, you hear a voice yelling out from the staff, "Help! Thief! Criminal!" And then it stops talking.
It's cursed. You can't drop it. You just have to hear that over and over again in your head.
Halt! 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 Forever.
Staff
but
of Dagger Falls.
It yells that, and
Did everyone hear that, or just Sardick?
everyone heard it. Because it was pretty loud.
What is this? I didn't steal you. You were on the ground.
No response.
Is everything okay out there, Sardick?
Sardick will go back into the room and is kind of frowning as he, is kind of holding the staff out. Well, I went ahead and I mended the thing, but I don't know. It just seemed to be uppity and kind of talked about criminals and thieves and being stolen and, well, all that sort of stuff that you heard.
Are you sure it wasn't just you, Sardick, using thaumaturgy again?
No, it definitely wasn't me, but who knows? Maybe this thing originally had some thaumaturgical power to it.
Does the Sats magic look any different? I'm sorry.
No, it looks the same. Well, it looks stronger now. It's still necromancy.
Well, whatever you did worked there, Sardick.
Fair enough. I don't know if this is helpful to anyone, but, if any of you might perhaps like a sort of a potentially dubious staff.
The staff seems very thin and frail, though. You think if you tried to use it to actually hit somebody that it would probably break again.
As a side note, can Roscoe try and make a history check regarding the identity of these statues or any importance?
Yeah, you can make a history check. All right. Well, you've got the names that are inscribed on there, and you recognize the names as like old from a long time ago, like 150 years ago at least. Waterdevian nobles that like contributed a lot of money to the city, and so they were considered philanthropists and were very well regarded. As for why there would be statues of them down here, you're really not sure. Unless they have, like, unless they've been buried down here nearby or something.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Did anyone want to do the staff or want that?
I'm wary about any magical object until I'm fully appraised of its properties.
Ara's gonna bring her little dragon over to it just to see how it reacts to it.
The little dragon's not a fan of it. Kind of
Okay.
makes a little huffing sound.
Ara
But-
says no thank you.
You think you get the feeling that it requires attunement? Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. It does not require attunement.
Oh. So, like, would she be able to kind of study it to see if she can get the feel for what it does or anything like that?
You think you're gonna have to actually have it identified.
Well, given the reaction of the dragon, Ara says it's probably best to put it away and have somebody that can figure it out. Figure it out before we attempt to let anybody use it. I don't think you can attune to it.
Yeah, it kind of falls in the same category as that rat head amulet. You can't attune to it, and you don't know what it does until you identify it.
Fair enough. Perhaps for another time, then.
Although
And,
one property of it seems to make itself obvious as the staff sort of scrapes across the ground. It leaves a trail behind it as though you had just drawn on the ground with chalk. Although you don't think that's part of its magic exactly, or if it is, it's just a very minor enchantment. You don't think that's part of the necromantic enchantment that you're detecting. But if you experiment with it a little bit, you determine that you can actually write with it, as though it were just a huge piece of chalk that never runs out.
Like on the statues?
Like on the statues.
Well, that's not unuseful. Does anyone want to
It's a little unwieldy, of course, to try to write with, because it's a big, long staff. It's not like a little piece that you could have in your hand, you know, but...
I mean, because it's a staff, it could fit in the bag if nobody wants to carry it, because we can kind of shove it in longwise, I think. But
Yeah, fair enough if no one's interested in hanging on to it for the moment.
You see Katrin still messing around with that dagger. She takes one of the bodies and she comes up here and she takes one of the bodies and she props it up against the statue so that it's kind of partially standing, and then she moves back a good distance and she throws the dagger at it, and as soon as the dagger leaves her hand, it changes into like a spectral looking parrot. And it flies over to the body and embeds itself in the body for a moment, just like a dagger would. And then it suddenly turns around and it flies back to her. And then when it gets back to her, it turns back into a dagger.
Right. Well, that happened.
She says, "Whoa, wow, look at this." She does it again. It does it again. It turns into a bird.
Yeah, it's sort of like a parody of a dagger.
God damn it, Nox.
Nox lights up my life.
A parody of a dagger? Nice.
it's a real beacon for us all.
I have to keep muting myself because I've spent most of this night laughing.
Well, like any good adventuring team, we have 3 directions and it will take us 20 minutes to debate which way to go. So, does anyone have a direction that they can?
Yeah, 4 directions, actually.
Oh, true.
Although if you
I'm gonna
look
roll-
at your map, you can see that a couple of the directions
Yeah.
probably don't go very far.
Yeah. I'm gonna send Nevermore to connect that bottom left one, I think.
Alright, so you're sending Nevermore over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'll even
So-
look and see. But so if that just connects there.
Actually,
Oh. Well, look at that.
it appears to be a dead end, except there's a ton of... there's like a ton of ceramic plates, like piled up against that back wall.
Well, I guess even bandits need to eat and have dishes. Do they stand out in any way aside from being plates? Or?
They look old and disused. I don't know if you're going in there and looking around yourself or if it's just Nevermore.
Right now it's Nevermore because my original plan was just to fill out the map, but does anyone want to interact with these more? Or we'll have Roscoe come in and look just to see if they're magical.
And then there's a pit right in front of them.
Yeah.
True. I'm hoping my passive perception of 16 saves me, but it won't.
There's not a pit. But it looks like a bunch of them are like cracked or pieces broken off of them, and there's a bunch of little pieces of broken plates around on the floor too. Like,
can I do a perception check to see if there's anything like under it or behind them, or that they might be masking?
yeah, what's your passive perception now? 16. Yeah, 16. with your passive of 16, you can tell that there's something a little bit off about the wall behind the plates. Like, it looks like you can see some little scrape marks and stuff on the wall that look like maybe some of that stone has moved or something.
Does anyone want to come check this out with me? Maybe Azar, we could mage hand and clear this up from a bit of a distance.
All right.
So I guess using mage hands, we kind of slowly move things away from the wall and get a bit.
All right, go ahead and just make a investigation check with your. Oh my god.
Okay.
You detect
Wow.
everything
Okay.
ever. Well, there's a secret door here, and you detect it very easily.
Do I know how to open it? And do I see a
And-
trap in it?
And there's not a trap, and yes, you know how to open it.
Alright, I'll go ahead and open it just for completion's sake. We found it, we should open it, right?
All right, there's just this tiny room there with a closed door on the other side.
Okay, I've totally been neglecting Nevermore's ability to do this, but he's going to turn into a spider and climb under the crack in the door, if there is one, and just kind of see where that...
All right, it's the same hallway you've been in before. You can see on your map how this connects up, so...
Okay. I'll just kind of nod to Azar as I walk past, like, okay, thank you for that, and just help connect the map. Well, I picked that one. Someone else can pick the next hallway that we...
R just kind of stands on the west wood area, but figures it's probably smart to continue to fill out the east. So she doesn't move.
Yeah, I'll save you guys some time. There's pretty much nothing over here. You can... You can just make
Okay,
that little
cool.
connection.
Yeah, Nevermore will just make that little loop next, or that
And there's,
can be how
there's
that
nothing
happens.
else over there.
Alrighty then. Shall we carry on?
Why do these dungeon planners always have these wildly inefficient dungeon designs with quarters that just loop back in on themselves?
Yeah, you'd think they put a lot of effort into making that hallway right there, and it didn't lead to a separate...
That's
The
a good
Winchester
question.
Widow.
Why would they even do that? That is super weird. Catherine's still playing with her dagger. She's like throwing it up in the air, and it turns into a bird and flies back to her. It's not a. It doesn't look like a real bird. It looks like a translucent kind of spectral magic bird. You know what I mean?
Well, I imagine even the Mad Mage must probably have to, conform to, various dungeon laws and such, about having multiple fire exits and that type of thing.
Or fire corridors where people running from fires get stuck.
Well, that's true too.
Alright, you seem to be standing by this western door. Would you like to check out this one?
Also a fan.
Katrin says, "Are you sure you don't want this? I've seen you throwing..." Whoa, what's going on there? I've seen you throwing daggers before. You can take it if you want, Roscoe.
Oh no, I mean, I already got this nice gem for the group, and honestly, I think there's benefit to you having a nice weapon, because you'd be using it a lot more than I would. I have other options.
Alright, thanks. I'll use it for now.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something else it can do, but I have to spend some time with it.
Fair enough. Well, when we get the moment, you can do that. Or if you want to take the moment now, I mean, we're not really in a rush right now. It seems like there's no current...
What do you think happened to... Because Red Saber did this, right? What do you think happened to him? If they didn't walk out of the room...
You know, last I had a greeting for us once we started meddling down here. It's possible that them meddling in this room got some of Halaster's attention, and maybe they weren't very polite to him. And who knows?
Ah, maybe he turned them all into babies, like Varys.
I think they were all babies to begin with, so he probably had something a little better than that for them.
Katrin laughs. That's a good point. So you guys are gonna go this other way, or what are you doing?
Actually, Sardick, do you see any signs that the omen you're following wants us to go in a direction?
I was just thinking of that, and Sardick will kind of walk around the room and kind of see if he can notice any particular signs of omens or anything to that effect.
You don't see any.
No, there's nothing that I can really kind of detect here from anything, but we must be going in the right way.
There aren't really other options up here, so either one, north or west. If no one picks now, I'm just going to flip a coin.
Well, I mean, the last portent sent us to the north. It would kind of make sense that it would want to continue north, perhaps.
That is as good a justification as any to me, because right now I don't see a difference between the paths, so I say north.
Let's do it.
Okay. So Katrin follows along. She's got Midge Rat on her shoulder.
I'll do the thing where Nevermore kind of scouts a teeny bit ahead. I mean, we'll move with our characters, but if there would be like an obvious threat, that Nevermore would detect it, kind of thing.
Alright, so what's Nevermore's perception?
Less than mine. Let's see. 11. So, obvious threat.
Alright, so as Nevermore goes ahead, let me reveal some areas. It looks like it dead ends to the north of you, and there's a passage going off to the west. But as Sardick, moving up in front there, gets to about the point where he is, you notice something on the wall to the east of you. A sort of strange discoloration in a few of the stones.
Wait a second. There's something unusual here about this wall.
Maybe we stop and take a look then. Yeah.
Yeah, that could probably be wise. It's the one over there. You can kind of see there's some stones that are just a bit too off color to be normal.
Would you mind helping me investigate this? Because you seem to have spotted it. Wink, wink.
Certainly, that's no problem. I can do that.
Thank you. Yeah, just guide me with what you notice.
Like you need help with investigation with a plus 13.
Hey, I mean, I did roll a 2 on the first one to get that 15.
That's true. Alright, you've found yet another secret door in the wall here. And you found how to open it, but it is locked.
Does it appear to be trapped in any way?
You do not detect any traps.
Okay. I could spend some time trying to unlock this, so we could move on. Might as well know what's on the other side, right?
Fair enough.
Roscoe will pull out his thieves' kit and not unlock it.
Alright, so you start trying to work on this lock, and it proves to be a little trickier than you were expecting.
Katrin, maybe you'll be better at this?
She says, "Oh, I can try. Or I could just help you if you want to try again. Whatever."
Now that I'm thinking about it, Roscoe might have trouble lockpicking with the sword in one hand, so that's probably why he didn't get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, see, I always forget about the sword thing, but I actually always mean to give you disadvantage on things like that, because of things that would take both hands.
I'll try and remember that more too. But if you'll let Roscoe assist Katrin, then she can do this.
Alright, that works. We should give it a shot. So yeah, she starts fiddling with it with her thieves' tools, and you hear a nice little click. He says, "Okay, I think it's good now. Thanks for your help." She puts her thieves' tools away.
You did all the real work.
I probably just got lucky.
Don't sell yourself short. You're a master of unlocking.
It's like when you're playing Skyrim or one of those Bethesda games, and you go to do the lockpicking minigame, and it just happens to already be on the right spot right from the beginning, and you just turn it and it opens. It's like that.
Maybe with a few more of these, unlocking these, we might be able to get a handle on that slate bag.
It's true.
Oh, that bag. I forgot about that thing.
It's so far out of the way, and it's behind the mirror room.
Yeah, but there's another way to get there.
That's true. Maybe if we find some moments when we're filling things out, we could.
I really want to know what's in there.
Well,
Alright, so the door's unlocked, but it is not yet opened. What do you guys do?
Stand back, everyone, and Roscoe's gonna kind of, using his mage hand this time a little bit more consciously than when he was doing it before, open up the door with the...
Okay, you open it up, and it swings open with a grinding of stone against stone.
And crushes Nevermore.
Nevermore is dead. It's been things too recent.
Then you'll have Nevermore 4.
Oh yes, there will be a running tally of Nevermore.
Well, think about it this way. The next one you can go Never 4. Huh?
Nice.
No.
No.
Scito, you're supposed to be the one complaining about these, not making them.
It's true.
It's contagious.
It's true, and I appreciate it.
So inside you find a room that kind of looks like an old crypt. And inside you see a bunch of like bedrolls laying around on the floor. And there are some, like, frescoes on the walls, but they're very faded, so it's kind of hard to see what they depict without examining them more closely.
Sardick will go ahead and, as he, looks at this and goes, "What is this? This is sort of like a mausoleum as well as a barracks."
Alright, so as you come in and look some more, you see a little passage leading to the north, and it goes down a little further to the south. Again, more bedrolls. And it looks like there's another little room off to the east down there.
Yeah, this could have been where a bandit slept. Looks a bit... Well, actually, do they look like pretty old ones, or are they fairly new, or kind of what's the state of that?
They don't look ancient. They look like they've been used recently, but they're not in good repair. And you see there's like a few extra articles of clothing around and stuff that seem to kind of match some of the clothing that the Undertakers were wearing.
All female clothing, of course, in case, anyone gets any ideas.
I was gonna ask.
All female
Go
clothing.
for it, Scito.
Damn it. Damn it.
Roscoe will kind of quietly try and proceed up here and look around this corner. Because we know there's actually one body that was unaccounted for at the very least. So he'll try and kind of quietly peek up and around this corner here to see what's over here.
Alright, so as you look around that way, you see what is clearly a crypt room with a raised stone platform with a coffin sitting on top of it.
A almost 15-foot coffin at that.
Also, I should tell you, with your investigation check that you made to find the door, you also noticed there was like about a 1-inch diameter hole bored through the wall of that secret door all the way through.
So, like, similar to the peepholes that we'd seen before?
Yeah, similar.
Okay. Oh,
So
also probably so
basically-
that gas could get through. If it was, a vampire.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So the coffin is sort of draped in cobwebs. It's sitting up on top of a block of gray stone. And the coffin looks quite intact. And it is closed.
Roscoe will kind of point this out to the group. Maybe the vampire thing wasn't entirely a lie. Sardick, you felt comfortable with these things, right?
Yes, that's true.
Maybe you just go first. No reason for that, aside from, safety and what.
Okay, yeah, Sardick will go in and he'll take a look around.
Alright. So you're looking around. Make a perception check or investigation. Well, perception, actually, in this case. Alright. You don't see anything noteworthy.
Any magic from the coffin area?
What are the rules for, like, seeing magic through?
Wood has a pretty good diameter strength, or stone doesn't, if that's the thing.
Let's see. 1 foot of stone,
3 feet of wood.
3 feet
or
of
dirt.
wood or dirt. Okay, I would say yes. You can sense a little bit of magic inside the coffin.
What school is it?
It is. You would think I would have write this down ahead of time. Well, when I first made the notes for these areas, I wasn't yet thinking that you were always going to have detect magic, so I didn't plan ahead with the...
No worries. I don't need the school if it doesn't. You can give me a vibe if you prefer, rather than a school.
Like, this isn't necessarily relevant, but like, what school of magic would it be if it's just like a magic weapon?
I think armor normally gets like abjuration and transmute. Actually, I think transmutation.
Transmutation, because the magic weapon spell is... Well, that's not what it is. It's actually evocation.
Not what I expected for coffin either. Just to be aware, Sardick, there might be some evocation magic surrounding that. Maybe.
But
I
the
should
magic
check it for
isn't
chat.
radiating from the coffin itself or from the outside of the coffin. It's something inside.
Okay, just sort of like a glow that or an aura I'm getting through it. Okay. Something inside at the very least.
All right, fair enough. And Sardick will consider this, and give me 1 moment, and he's going to take out the Malerican Chronicle, and he's going to swap a particular spell around. Well, if there's something in here, I suppose the polite thing to do would be to knock. Even if it's a dead person, politeness, I suppose, counts for something. So he'll go ahead and he'll knock upon the coffin lid.
Alright, so you start to knock and you hear the sound that you would expect from knocking on a coffin. But what you don't expect is a shadowy figure suddenly leaps up from the area on the other side of the coffin and springs at you. Unfortunately, none of you have high enough passive perception to have detected this individual. So, you are surprised. And it looks like a vampire. In fact, as you get a better look, it looks like a vampire that you've met before. The woman that they called Sister. But she appears to be in a frenzied rage, and she immediately tries battering you with her clawed hands. Let's see here. That's a crit right out the gate. That's really gonna hurt. Okay, so there's that damage plus... Ooh. 54 damage, bludgeoning.
Really?
Whoa.
As she just bashes you in the side of your head, and your head is ringing. Your head whips to the side, there's a cracking sound in your neck, and you just feel this ringing pain piercing through you. From your brain all the way down through your body.
Ah, Barzol, that's smart.
And then she tries to strike again. But this time, she is unable to get through your armor. And she goes for a body shot. And it doesn't hurt you. And now, we can roll initiative. Oh, cool. Alright, never mind. Yeah, all of that is legit. Initiative as we switch to combat music. Now, like I said, you do recognize her. You have had dealings with her before.
Oh, Nevermore. We decided not to give him initiative, and he's just.
Yeah. How come there's multiple ones on here? Okay, so
If you don't delete previous initiatives, they will stay up.
right, okay. So Azar's got the 10, not the 18. Sardick's got the natural 20. Roscoe's got the 9. Midge won't be acting in this combat, so I'm not going to roll initiative for her. Katrin, Roscoe, Sardick, Azar, Ara. And finally... Alright, well, having been the one that was just assaulted, you get to react first, Sardick.
Sardick kind of bellows back. Is this any way to treat a guest? What went on here? Why are you just assaulting us? What happened down there, back in that room?
She just growls at you ferally. No more of your lies! You people slaughtered my family! Now you die! Hashtag not all adventurers. So what do you do?
Sardick will look and go. There, I demand you listen to me. Hold right there! And he's going to point a commanding finger at her.
Okay. Command.
So his command is basically stop or hold or, don't move. I suppose halt works in that instance.
Alright. Let's see, that's a wisdom saving throw. What's the DC on that?
That is 16.
Doesn't matter, she failed. So, basically, on her turn, she's gonna have to do what you said, which is basically nothing. Right?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. You do anything else?
Now stop this right now. I demand to know what happened. And I'm assuming that she's on that particular side of the coffin, so he's actually going to kind of move one over and sort of interpose himself between her and the rest of the party.
Alright, so Katrin says, "How dare you attack him! Fake vampire!" And she will rush forward. Hold on, how much movement? So she'll sort of try to hop up on the coffin and get behind her. see. I'm gonna have her roll acrobatics. Okay, that's acceptable. So she gets on there and she's gonna try to strike with the dagger. I don't have the magic dagger on her sheet, so we'll just add 1 to the hit and damage. She has advantage for flanking, so that'll be a 24. That'll hit. Wow, thanks, sneak attack. 6 damage on 3d6. So 14. 14 damage as she slashes sister in the back. Some blood spraying against the wall. Alright. What is Ara gonna do? I think you're muted.
Oh, she is. Okay, so she's gonna move forward. She heard Sardick try to calm the vampire, and she's gonna call her sister, because that's what they know her as, and try to get her attention. And
What do you say?
first I'm gonna tell her sister, look, we weren't the ones that did this. We were up in the tavern, have been for a couple days dealing with our own other things. There's another group down here, but it's not us.
All right,
Would you
make
like
a
me to make a persuasion?
yeah, make a persuasion check.
Dang.
Wow! Holy shit!
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so she visibly relaxes, sort of lets the tension go out. I mean, she's still kind of trying to halfway turn and guard herself against Katrin, who's slashing at her with a dagger, but she sort of relaxes and she says, "It wasn't you.
No,
You're not with those others."
No, we've encountered them. We came to basically talk to you guys and cover the fact that we've gotten to 2 of the camps that we were asked to remedy as far as your situation goes for the southern areas of this dungeon, and we came down. Seems that there's been a slaughter that the perpetrators have disappeared from. Definitely wasn't us. We were working with you, not against you.
I think.
And I kind of give Katrin like the stop, please, stop, stop
All
trying
right.
to hurt her.
This one's trying to stab me. Katrin says, "Hey, you just about took Sardick's head off."
She
Kinda
was only
looks-
defending him, and if you calm down, she'll calm down. I promise.
All right. Well, she's still under the command of Halt, so she can't do anything even if she wanted to. So this conversation can take place, but as it does so, it is Azar's turn if he chooses to do something.
All right, I'm gonna get closer, like, and say, yes, I wasn't with the group at the time when they first met up with you, but I can assure you that we have done no harm whatsoever to the vampires or whatever you are here. That was the work of the Red Saber, we believe. A most disagreeable lot.
Yeah, they came in and just started killing.
Was there an extremely violent halfling among them?
Oh yeah, that halfling was the worst.
Was there a really cool, edgy sorcerer-looking guy?
I wouldn't call him cool. He seemed like a spoiled brat.
I think he meant cruel. That I think the word he was meaning to say.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry I jumped you. Are we done here? She looks at Katrin. She holds up a hand. Katrin says, "Yeah, as long as you don't attack anymore." So I assume you're not casting any spells at her, Scito, at this point?
That's right.
Roscoe, are you doing anything special, or are you just going to let it kind of wind down and...
Things seem to be easing down. Roscoe won't aggravate.
Roscoe's like, fuck that! Shadow Blade!
Thinking in yellow compels me.
Alright, so we can leave combat then. You've managed to persuade her, Ara. Good job.
Woo! Ara did something other than fireball.
That's true.
That was like the opposite of argumentative. Alright, so she gets down. Sorry I hit you so hard. I thought you were with them. So she climbs down off the coffin.
It's all right. I get it. You were scared, but I imagine if you had got them with that amount of force, they'd be quite intimidated by that.
Out of curiosity, if you all aren't actually vampires, why do you have a coffin?
She says, what are you talking about? Of course I'm a vampire.
Can I do an insight check on that?
Yeah, of
I'm not
course.
very good at it.
I'd like to insight as well.
Wow.
I shall insight as well. Watch how I roll somehow low.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
Roscoe and Ara, you believe her. She's telling the truth. Azar, you don't think so.
Can we at least have some, like, a little bit of doubts hedged after everything we saw in the other room? Fair enough.
Well, yeah, that's true. You did see in the other room, so I guess that could give you advantage. In which
It's
case,
fine. As long as Sardick, or not Sardick, Azar brings it up, then I'm fine with Roscoe not knowing.
Yeah, I'm gonna nudge Ara and just sort of give her a doubting nod, a shake of my head, but very subtly.
Ara's gonna go now. We told you the truth. I think it's time you tell us the truth.
Sister says, all right, fine. We're not vampires. That's just our shtick as a gang, to scare people. Of course, our gang's pretty much obliterated. I mean, there's still Harry's crew, of course, but they split off from us and they pretty much kill us on sight now, so...
Fucking splitists.
Anyway, if you run into them, they're a lot less friendly than Uktarl's group was. They're gonna be pretending to be vampires too, but they're really not.
Is this coffin for the charade, or was it here before?
No, this coffin was already here. It's not ours.
There's something magic in it. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, actually. And she swings the coffin lid open. Actually, it's locked. She pulls out her key, unlocks it, swings the lid open. Inside you see that it's full of a layer of earth, like dirt. And it's been kind of flattened down, suggesting that something kind of slept on this dirt many times. You see, like, partially buried in the dirt, a vial of what looks like water. And there's also a leather satchel in there. And she pulls the leather satchel out of the coffin and she opens it up, and you see a bunch of potions in there. A couple of the vials are already empty. She takes one and hands it to Sardick, and she takes one herself and immediately drinks it. And there's 2 others in there that look full still.
My thanks to your health, and he'll go ahead and he'll drink that.
How much
Actually,
does a potion of healing heal for?
Regular potion?
2d4 plus 2.
Alright.
He'll actually invoke Preserve Life to bring himself back up to half life, and then he'll drink that.
Thanks, healing potion.
Thanks, healing potion. Yeah, so she doesn't look super thrilled. But she's still kind
It's
of
like
like
I paid full price for this one.
She's looking at it like she can't decide what to do, and then she just shrugs and hands the whole satchel over to Sardick. So you can see inside the satchel are 2 empty bottles and 2 what look like full healing potions.
I'm telling you, come up with.
Thank you very much.
And there's still a vial of something laying in the coffin.
Does it seem magical?
I guess?
Sure.
Sardick
Roscoe,
could identify it pretty easily. I'm not sure if... I guess, would holy water count as magical? Like for detect magic purposes?
I would say it probably exhumes some sort of reference to at least a cleric paladin.
We'll say Sardick identifies it, and we don't need to worry about whether Roscoe did or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not magical. It doesn't radiate magic, but Sardick's able to recognize that it's clearly a consecrated flask of water. So that's a flask of holy water.
That's quite unusual. A flask of holy water in a coffin.
I wouldn't say it's entirely unusual. I've heard that priests of Lathando often are buried with holy water.
Sister says, I don't know. It was in there when we found this place. We decided not to mess with it. Best we could figure, maybe it was placed there to prevent the vampire from coming back to the coffin or something. I don't know.
Do you know that there was a vampire here?
Well, I just guessed there was a vampire here. We haven't seen any sign of one.
Fair. Is there anything else we should be concerned about in the local area?
Hold on just a second. Actually, let's take a super fast break. I want to take a super fast 2-minute break or so.
Josiah, you're...
Yeah, I just realized I didn't. Let's take a super fast break for just a couple minutes. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Alright, cool. I'll be right back. Stick around, stay tuned. Wait, are you actually listening to the stream and me on here at the same time?
No.
Oh, I think Scito might be. Or maybe he just guessed that I was.
What? No, I just guessed that you were... There was a silence.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, that would be really confusing if you were listening to the stream too.
Yeah, I was figuring you probably knew you were muted just because of the long silence there was after.
Alright, I'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Stick around, stay tuned, don't touch that dial. I will BRB in just 2 minutes, hashtag super fast.
Well, hooray for our diplomacy that did not involve fireballs.
Yeah.
I also apologize. I thought it was muted and I burped.
No worries.
We now know that Aura has 2 types of diplomacy, fireball diplomacy and regular diplomacy.
I told you guys I have a really good persuasion, but everybody else does the persuading.
Also, to be fair, most of the things we've encountered have not really been persuadable.
I mean, we did persuade them to die.
This is true. We were very persuasive at that.
It's so funny. I played a one-shot last week, and I'm so used to playing like either the very persuasive character or the very perceptive character. And I had like the crappiest rolls. So I ended up being a druid because I was like, all right, if I play a druid, I don't have to worry about strength because it can wild shape into something that has strength. So like, and I'll tell you, like, my stats are, my strength is a -2, my intelligence and my constitution are -1s. Like, those are the modifiers for them. But I literally spent an entire game like not talking, not doing anything, in an animal shape. And the only thing I was good for was when we came up against our first combat, I conjured animals and then turned into a spider and hid in a crevice.
Wow.
Wow.
Conjure animals is a good spell.
But it was so funny because like they're all animal lovers and everything like that, and I mean borderline furry lovers too. And I conjured blink dogs. And they were all like, oh my god, you're so awful, I can't believe you conjured dogs. And I'm like, they're actually considered fae, they're not really dogs. Like, I had to like go through this like whole thing, and then I was like, if anybody's listening and they're into like that whole PETA thing, I'm not sorry.
I'm back.
Because one dog got like eaten in like 10 seconds and another dog was half eaten but half alive.
And the other thing is they don't die; they just go back to the Feywild.
That's what I said. I was like, they technically don't die, they're just gonna disappear.
I'm back.
Yeah, so it's like familiars. They never really die unless they die in their home plane.
In fact, they're safer here in the material plane.
Well, apparently I was cruel for pulling them from the wild fae yonder to help us destroy some sort of aberration that had tons of eyes and mouths.
You know,
and
it
tentacles.
sounds like you should have played Warlock and done summon demons. They would have been happier about it.
Well, here was the issue with that: is we had two fighters. We had a fighter and a barbarian, and then everybody else was like a warlock or a sorcerer.
That's a lot.
And I was like, well, I guess I'll just play something different. Oh, and we had one rogue who basically was gone most of the game.
Fucking rogues.
I know.
He was so good at stealth, but he was just not there.
He went rogue.
Hey.
Alright. So I believe you just asked Sister if there was anything else they need to be concerned about around here. She says, well, there's a bunch of giant spiders to the north of here. I'm not sure if... There's another crew of Undertakers. Basically, the gang split in half. The other group's under Haria. And she's a lot less sane and reasonable than Uktara was, so that group will probably just attack you on sight. There's some giant spiders up there, and I haven't really explored much to the east up there, but those who did go exploring to the east never came back, so I don't know, whatever's up there is probably pretty dangerous.
What direction can we expect Harria's crew in?
Northwest.
Fair enough.
Did any of your group ever explore to the south?
Not really, because all those damn goblins were running around down there.
So you couldn't tell me if there was a particular camp or something there, like the location?
Well, yeah, they have their watch post just south of the Hall of Mirrors. That's where we were hoping you would go and clear it out.
Yes, it appears that we're missing one, though. The Big Ear's watch post, but it doesn't sound like you know where it would be exactly.
Sorry. I don't really know what to do now. I'm the last survivor of my group. I could go join up with Haria, I guess, but I really don't want to. I don't like her.
You could return to the Yawning Portal.
Yeah,
Or
I
you could come
suppose
with
I will.
us.
I'm gonna go check on my sister.
Just so you know, if you do head back up that way, you can't really get out of the Yawning Portal. You'd be a little bit stuck in the inn. It's a nice place, but there's kind of a malfunction in the security system.
Which also means you might want to drop the whole vampire look.
That's true.
You say you have a sister up in the Yawning Portal?
She kind of looks at you. She's like, actually, no, never mind. Never mind, I didn't say that.
You kind of did.
Well, we are on fairly good terms with everyone in the portal, but I don't think it would be a problem telling us, but if you feel it's best.
So Roscoe will kind of like project his voice into Ara's head for a moment. Be like, I could read her thoughts if you want to know that.
I'll give him a slight nod.
It'll just project again. In just a moment, ask her about the sister again. It will guide her. Roscoe.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's gonna have to step out because it's like physically a spell that he's casting, so it'd be super obvious if he was casting it. So assuming Nevermore's on his shoulder invisibly, he's like, Nevermore just picked up something. I'm gonna check it out, be right back. And he's gonna kind of make his way back over here as the conversation continues. Cast Detect Thoughts, and then walk back and be like, the damn bird again. Just keeps thinking it sees things in the shadows. Where were we?
On the sister. So who is your sister?
Look, just drop it. Forget about it.
I'm sure we could tell you if she's okay.
So I can read surface thoughts of this creature. I won't do the pushing deeper to learn motivations, but Ara asking should guide its surface thoughts about this.
Hey, what's up, Cass? How you doing? Welcome. Alright, so right now her thoughts are about going south to the rooms where they were staying and getting some different clothes, transforming, and going back up to the portal. Yeah, D&D
Okay.
stream.
Roscoe has about a minute of this, so we can ask probably like one or two more questions, and then at the very end, I might ask something. So if y'all can think of anything else, we can guide her thoughts for a moment.
I'm gonna follow her, and I'm not gonna bring up the sister specifically, but I'll just kind of, I don't know, ask her about the ruse that they've been using for the whole vampire thing. Because to me it was pretty convincing, because I didn't see the difference between the humans and the vampires.
She says, yeah, most of the gang were just using makeup. They're a bunch of failed actors. So they wanted to have a chance to pretend to be something they weren't. But they knew about makeup and all that. Of course, brother and I, we can make ourselves look like whatever we want.
So you're the same as him.
And Uktarl himself, well, he's just a human, but he has magic. Had magic. He used an illusion to make himself look like a vampire.
Oh, that was a really good illusion.
Brother isn't your sister, is he?
Brother isn't your brother, you mean?
Well, not changelings. Doppelgangers don't really have gender, so I don't know what gender to apply to that.
Maybe no gender Why don't you think about that? You know, you're not applying the gender binary to these doppelgangers.
I'm sorry, I assumed gender.
But is that your sister you were talking about?
She looks at you. Her eyes narrow a little bit. She's like, yeah, I can do that too. And you notice in her thoughts there was absolutely no thought of her sister.
Okay.
Nice try, though. It's as though she has deliberately, like, scrubbed that thought from her head, and she's just thinking of other things. Now she's thinking about maggots. She's visualizing a bunch of nasty, writhing, squirming maggots.
What a jerk.
Roscoe will kind of like wince a little bit and like shift to Sardick's thoughts for a second just to see what's going on in there.
Sardick is kind of in his mind. He's thinking of holy water and the various properties of it, and maybe I can use this in some divine magic somehow, and that kind of stuff. And he's like mentally counting all of the various healing potions he has now and all that type of stuff.
Okay. Well, Roscoe's gonna wince from that too, and he's just gonna stop. He's gonna drop the detect thoughts spell.
All right.
I was expecting so much more, Sardick. So much more.
How much? When you guys did the Arcana checks about the... Well, just do new Arcana checks if you're Arcana adjacent.
Yep.
Mm.
Roscoe's thinking about maggots.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
No.
You guys don't have any special insights about doppelgangers right now.
I rolled really well with the first roll, but now apparently I've just completely forgotten.
Well, you identified it as a doppelganger, but you weren't really trying to think about like everything you could ever knew about doppelgangers at the time.
Just elevator music playing in my head.
There's always
So-
inspiration for advantage.
That's true, but
True.
I
it
think
worth it?
that
True.
I think it's okay.
Ara offers and says, I mean, you can come with us.
This is true. I mean, you have definitely proven you can fight.
She says, I'm not an adventurer. I don't want to traipse around the dungeon, killing oozes and shit. I'm just gonna go up and hang out in the tavern.
How could we find you if we need you? Or, we are friends, technically, in a way.
We'd like to think so.
Well, here's the form I'm gonna take. And she, changes herself into an elven woman. With curiously nondescript features, because I don't know what she's gonna look like yet until I find a picture for her.
I was about to say.
I was gonna say, does she look like anyone we know?
She doesn't look like anyone you know. She looks very nondescript. Nondescript elf.
And then he
Yeah.
finds a picture, and it has like a eye patch and a peg leg.
Super descript, yeah. So she says, I'll look like this. Probably. I may change to something else, but...
Well, I don't think any of us will be changing shape, so if you do need us, you know how to identify. We'll be stopping back up every once in a while.
Alright. is the way between here and the well clear?
It was when we went through. The
Right.
secret passage, I think, still has a rune on it, so I wouldn't go that way. You have to go through the pillar room.
Okay. I was wondering about that.
We haven't checked, so I mean, you feel free to check, but we are pretty sure that it hasn't been dispelled.
Did you already loot our quarters?
We did.
Your quarters. We were only in that entry room, and then we came up here.
All right.
The entry room is what I meant, if that's not what you did.
Oh, no, to the west of the room with the statues, there's the rooms where we were actually staying. I guess you all are welcome to whatever you find in there. I'm just gonna go get a change of clothes.
Do you have any
Maybe
men's clothing at all?
Yeah, there's some in our quarters.
Oh, thank God. Thank the gods.
And you
I
find
tell her
as
that
well-
I'm really sorry about what happened to her friends, her group, whatever she wants to call them.
Well, the only one I gave a fuck about was Brother. He and I were part of the same group. We just joined up with these idiot undertakers because we didn't have anything else to do. And we thought
I'm
it would
still
be
very
easy to pretend
sorry.
to be vampires. You know, there's another one of our group too. Up with Harry's gang. They just call them
Will
cousin.
your name hold any type of value in?
Well, I was gonna say, maybe if you could just not kill that one, it'd be pretty cool. Maybe just knock him out, then tell him to come meet me or something. But you might not be able to tell which one is him, is the problem.
How we've been able to tell which ones are not very vampire-like. Is that going to be how we would
Well, he's gonna be one of the ones that looks like a real vampire.
exactly? So, how many of them are there up in that group that can adequately disguise?
Well, Harriet herself, she's got the same illusion magic that Uktar had. And cousin. That's it. The rest of them just have makeup.
So then, the one that does not seem to be in charge, probably male, looks like a vampire. Does that seem right?
Yeah, cousin goes back and forth, though. Could be male, could be female, could be androgynous. But, right, cousin will be the one that's not in charge.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna go. Good luck.
Are
Thank
as
you.
well?
Yes, peace be with you.
Alright, so she takes off and goes back down to the south, leaving you alone in here with the crypt, with the coffin. I assume you're taking the holy water?
Yeah, after she leaves, Sardick will go ahead and reach into the coffin and take the holy water.
Okay, and you've got two more... You've got two more,
Healing potions.
healing potions here as well, and a rather nice leather satchel.
Ooh, could I have the satchel?
Certainly, I don't
No.
see why not.
No.
It'll make an
Yeah,
excellent compliment to my Morn bag. My Morn sack. That's what I'm calling my backpack that I
Your
made out of
Morn
Morn's
sack?
clothing. Yes,
Yeah.
it's the backpack I made out of Morn's clothing.
I thought you borrowed Roscoe's backpack, since he didn't need it anymore because he had the bag of holding.
I think we might have opted
No, he
against
didn't.
that, though.
He didn't because Roscoe said that it like was kind of personal for him.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay.
right. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Do we want to go get you some male clothing? I mean, as convincing of a cross-dresser as you have proven to be.
I'm already concerned about my ability to reproduce in the future. These pants are so tight.
Fair enough. Let's go get you some proper clothing.
Well, there's some vampire costumes in here with these bedrolls.
Oh, true. They're fake teeth.
Is there a
No.
way that I can put on those clothes and not look like a total edgelord from like a World of Darkness character?
No.
No, there's no way.
Can Roscoe find those plastic teeth that kids get with their Halloween candy? With the little fangs on them?
I mean, there's none here, but you could take the fake teeth from the dead Undertakers.
Probably not worth.
So what do you guys do now?
Head over and
Says,
get
are you okay, Sardick?
Yes, I'll be all right. I mean, it was quite a stunning blow, but after kind of restoring myself with some divinity and drinking that potion, I feel a bit. Sardick wonders if it's been enough time for a short rest.
Not yet, but you could hang out for about another half an hour, and it would be a short rest.
I'm
30
surprised-
minutes in the dungeon and already needs a rest.
I mean, I think we should. I'd get my spell back.
Of course, this is one of those wonderful things where it's 30 minutes in a dungeon, but it's been closer to 2 hours in real life.
Yeah.
Actually, 3.
Well, if we do
we-
want to take it easy a bit, we could always look through those quarters. She did say we could have whatever's there.
It's probably a good place to rest, also. Alright,
I'm good.
So-
Let's rest.
All right.
seems
So
like
Catherine-
Azar can look around and find some clothes he likes while we rest, kind of.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. So you're going back down there to the west, or are you gonna just finish resting in this room?
I think down here.
Okay. So
Unless that's
over
the spider.
here you find a short hallway with 2 doors, both of which are ajar.
They're doors, not jars.
I knew someone was going to do that.
I mean, it's not surprising. This is the group to do it.
All right, so which one of these areas do you want to kind of check out first?
How about north, the most heroic of directions?
I can't fault that.
All right. So to the north, you find a room which has a tub carved into the floor as a large recessed stone tub, and in the tub is a couple of bedrolls, that are just on top of each other, and some pillows and stuff. It looks like it's been made very comfortable in there. Up above the tub on the wall, the entire northern wall of the room, is a huge stone fresco. And it depicts a rugged mountain, hollowed out with caverns containing tiny sculpted figures of dwarves. Behind the mountain, carved rays of brilliant sunlight fan out to the edges of the wall. And you're pretty certain, Nox, that this is indeed dwarven art.
Yeah, Sardick will step into the room further and he'll kind of regard it, in significant detail.
There's also, of course, a table, and a decrepit wooden table and some chairs, and it looks like cards were being played here, as there is a deck of cards on the table, and there are some coins on the table, and you see a silver ring laying there as well. None of this radiates magic.
You know, Roscoe is proficient in playing card sets, but does not have playing cards, so I think he'll take those.
I am proficient in playing card sets, and I did have a set of playing cards, but those were taken from me.
Oh, do you want this deck then? So you have.
Oh my god.
It's okay. I'm just still gonna whine about my things taken.
Maybe if you just admitted that you lost them because you lost them, maybe they'll just come back to you.
No, that's not how Josiah works. I've known him for too long.
So, who's taking the cards?
Do you want them? You have a new bag to put them in now.
No, that's all right. You can take them. I have my own set. Quite.
Oh, you think you have had? What do you think goblins do with those types of playing card sets when they find them?
Well, it was in its own little box, which I'm hoping they didn't go into.
Katrin says they probably use them as toilet paper.
I'm just gonna pretend that they didn't use them as toilet paper. And,
Just like paper
fine.
from books. They definitely use paper from books as toilet paper.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Nice.
I love Katrin.
Is there any male clothing in this room?
Not in this room.
Josiah, you said a silver ring. We can pick
Yeah,
that one up.
if you look at the silver ring, it's actually engraved with dwarven symbols. Does anybody... Well, Sardick, obviously.
Does anyone?
Yeah, so if you speak Dwarven, which Sardick obviously does, I don't know if anyone else does.
I don't think I do.
Well, Azar speaks all languages with comprehend languages, but thus far hasn't really gotten to you.
Comprehends all languages with comprehends languages, but speaks common and whatever else he has. I actually don't know.
Common, undercommon, elvish.
So I can tell you this, Sardick. You sense there's something off about this fresco. Like, something just keeps, like, almost catching your eye as you look it over. But you can't quite figure out what it is.
There's something odd about this. And Sardick has the Malercan Chronicle out, and he's, writing his, the description of this particular fresco and, the various art thereon. So he's kind of studying it in particular detail as he's doing this. So he's kind of, each time he, looks back at it, he's trying to figure out exactly what he's seeing that's not quite right.
All right, you can make an investigation check. Alright, that's actually good enough. You discover that one of the tiny dwarf figures painted there is actually not painted. It's carved, and it's set perfectly into the wall, into a little hollow, so that it looks like it's part of the painting. but it looks like it can actually be pulled out.
That's odd. There's this one's actually a little sculpture. Yeah, and Sardick will kind of go up there and he'll pull it out and kind of see exactly what's going on with it.
All right, you discover that this tiny dwarf figure is the top of a stone key.
Sardick turns it over in his hand as he's looking at this, and well, I didn't expect this. It looks like a sort of an incomplete key.
Well, the key looks complete.
That's a keeper.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nice, keeper.
A keeper, nice.
So, like, the handle of the key kind of is the dwarven sculpture.
Exactly.
Okay, I get you.
And the key kind of sticks out from the bottom of that. So you've got this stone key now, dwarf key, and also in the tub, along with the bedrolls of Uktarl, there's a set of thieves' tools, and there's essentially all the stuff that would go into an explorer's pack. Whatever is in an explorer's pack, which is... Is that a thing? Is that in the player's handbook?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, explorer's
It would
pack,
be with
right.
equipment.
So there's a backpack, another bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days worth of rations, and a water skin, and a 50 feet of rope. All of that is in there.
Does Sardick make anything of the ring?
You're gonna examine the dwarven symbols inscribed into the ring, Nox?
Yeah, after he's regarded the mural there, he'll go ahead and he'll look at the
All right, you realize that this is a scandalous ring, as these symbols mean fertility and sexual potency.
Ooh la la.
Really?
Well, you won't have to worry about having kids. So you know.
The ring isn't magical, but you do think it's worth about 25 gold.
Well, it seems to be quite a scandalous dwarven ring. I mean, if you look at this one, this rune is said to amplify, sexual potency, and this one here, well, that's just another suggestive one there.
There is also 220 copper, 91 silver, and 85 gold on the table in loose coinage.
Okay, I got all that but the silver. How much silver was it?
91. There's also on the table a lantern and 5 torches and 3 flasks of oil around the room. So I don't know if you guys take any of that stuff, then write it down.
I marked down the money, the ring, the playing card set. But if anyone wants things from the explorer's kit or that sort of stuff, then let me know and I can put it in separate.
I mean, I could use an actual backpack instead of my morn sack.
Or you can put all the contents of the backpack into your morns.
Or the satchel you just got.
Well, it doesn't hurt to have a backpack and a satchel.
I
They
feel
take
like
different
he's only.
spots.
I feel like he's only using this stuff until he gets his stuff back, if he ever does.
For the most part, you're right there. I will immediately be dropping most of this stuff once again. But this satchel looks nice. I think I'll keep it. Pleases me.
So you record everything about this in your Malarican Chronicle.
Yes.
All right. You guys check out that other room to the south.
Yeah.
All right. So you see eight bedrolls in here. Again, there's some more lanterns, a couple more lanterns, and 6 more flasks of oil and 20 more torches. And some assorted clothing. There's both regular costume clothing of the vampire type costumes, and there is one pile at a bedroll in the corner, one pile of like normal everyday clothes of the male description.
You were too nice.
Yeah, he's too nice. Yeah. Okay, I will take whichever set of clothing looks the least gross.
Alright, these clothes are actually pretty clean.
Yes.
They were washed sometime this month.
And they fit you well enough.
Now, does Azar undress right here and now, or?
Look, I was in my small clothes earlier. I have no shame anymore. I was a slave.
Fair enough.
Now, there is a door to the north, beside the one that you came in. It is closed, and there is a sort of pungent odor coming from that door.
Ooh.
Faintly, very faint pungent odor.
Does it have a crack small enough that a spider nevermore could crawl?
Yeah, actually.
Alright. He'll crawl under and take a peek.
Does Spider Nevermore have dark vision?
So he doesn't have like polymorph, he has shape changer. So it says that they turn into a thing that like a beast that resembles a creature. So I don't think it's like a polymorph where like you lose your features. I think it's just changing its shape to resemble. I don't know how you want to interpret it, but it doesn't specifically mention whether it loses.
Alright, I'll say that he keeps it. So he still has dark vision. So you notice the other side of the door is like covered with like metal plates that have been sort of bolted onto the inside of the door. And the smell is a little bit stronger, but other than that, you just see a hallway that goes up and curves to the west. You gonna keep looking? Keep going?
At the moment, Roscoe will be like, well, do we want to stop and finish our rest before we progress? I can have them all keep looking, but...
So, let's assume you guys have finished your rest.
Okay.
Katrin's attuned to the dagger, and she says, "Oh! Wow! Hold on," and she runs out of the room. Does anybody follow her, or just let her go?
Ara's gonna follow her.
Roscoe's gonna stay, because he thought he's supposed to wait there.
Alright,
Azar
so
will fall.
she runs out to the room with the three statues, and she holds up the dagger in front of her, and suddenly it turns into a magical translucent parrot, and she whispers in its ear, and it flies back into the other room, and it flies up to Roscoe, and it sits on Roscoe's other shoulder where Nevermore isn't. Oh, maybe Nevermore's on your shoulder, but either way, it sits on your other shoulder, and it says, "Testing, testing. Let me know if you got this message."
Oh my god, I
that
hear
is
you.
so
Can you hear me?
cool.
Can you hear me?
Nothing happens. And then the bird disappears after delivering that message to you.
Roscoe's gonna shout out, I could hear you, could you hear me?
She comes running back in. Did it work? It worked?
I heard you, but I guess I couldn't respond.
Yeah, I can send a message. I think I can send it pretty far away.
Interesting. Well, that's quite useful, actually.
I have to know the
That's pretty
person, though.
nifty.
Like, I couldn't send it to somebody that I don't know. I have to know their name and what their face looks like. I guess I could send a message to Halaster. She laughs.
Maybe don't poke the beast
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, let's not yet.
She starts messing with it again. She's like, oh, now it's not working. I guess I can only do it once in a while.
Still useful.
Very.
Little spider Nevermore is gonna kind of like pop through the crack, and as soon as it's there, it's gonna like kind of rustle back into its raven form, and kind of like hop up and look around this corner.
Alright. Nevermore dies. What's the next one?
Right, we've got more summoning materials. He's expendable.
He is forevermore.
Forevermore, nevermore.
Alright, it goes about 20 more feet, and then it curves to the south. And the smell is getting a little bit stronger and stronger as you go.
How about this? He will go until he has identified the source of the smell, or some other threat would make it seem like he should stop.
Alright, so he keeps going, and it turns one more corner. And now the smell is very, very strong. In fact...
Huh. What does it look like
Is
he's looking at?
Nevermore immune to poison?
He at least has
Anything like that?
resistance. He's immune to poison, actually, yeah. Immune to the
Okay.
poisoned condition and immune to poison.
Alright, so it's overwhelmingly horrible stench. But as you come around the corner, you see this massive heap of filth, trash, dead bodies, human waste, just all kinds of sliggins that you can imagine. And there's like objects and stuff sticking out of there too. It looks like, various bags and crates of things have just been dumped there. And it's just this one massive mass of stuff.
Well, it looks like Sardick's the only one in the room with me right now. So Roscoe will turn to Sardick and be like, there's kind of a weird disposal area. One second. And he's going to kind of like shift back into Nevermore's vision. Does anything look valuable in this, or does it kind of look very trash?
Kind of deep back in there, you see something shiny. Of course, without any light, you're just looking with dark vision. There's no light source.
With devil sight, though.
That's true, but there's no light to reflect off something to make it shiny. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But it looks like there could be valuable stuff in there that's been just discarded.
Sardick, it looks like behind this door there's a pretty gross pile, but maybe something of value in there? Lots of bodies and heaping trash.
That's interesting. Well, I wonder why they would...
That sounds disgusting.
I wonder why they would put valuables in the middle of their refuse.
Well, the thing is, it looks kind of blocked off, actually. The other side of the door that Nevermore crawled under is kind of barred off. I wonder if they're actually keeping this out. Nevermore's gonna kind of watch it to see if it looks like it's moving at all, or if this might be like a thing.
Nevermore could make a perception check. What's everybody else doing during this time?
I'm with Katrin,
He does not.
watching her muse.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, Nevermore number 2. Don't you mean Nevermore number 3?
Oh crap! I need to change his name on there too. You're right. It has been fixed.
I don't see anything in particular, but it does look like there might even be some sealed containers within the.
Do I risk Nevermore's life for this?
Boxes and such.
I'm gonna have Roscoe ready the action to basically snap Nevermore back to his shoulder if it looks like Nevermore is in danger, and have Nevermore shift to its imp form where it has like actual hands and thumbs and can manipulate things, and start kind of like slowly approaching and seeing if it gets a reaction out of this thing or if he can find something interesting in there.
Alright, well, you start digging around, and it's just really disgusting, and there's just a lot, and everything is falling on top of itself and moving and shifting as you dig through there. He can make, after about a minute of this, he can make investigation or perception check, your choice.
Perception is +1 at least, so there's that.
He doesn't find anything yet of value, but there's so much to look through.
Well, we'll just leave him at that for now. Roscoe will be kind of like trying to micromanage the investigation. Nevermore's going to be getting annoyed at Roscoe for backseat driving. And yeah, Roscoe will kind of just be following the group for now while Nevermore's doing this.
Alright.
Is anyone doing anything?
I'm unaware of what you're doing, so I'm still in this room with Katrin. Unless she left, so.
Well, if you say it's so bad in there, well, it might make sense to wait for Midge to be able to get back to her own form. With that necklace of adaptation she's got on, she might be able to deal with that rather easily.
This is true. We'll probably be passing back through here at some point, so we don't need to deal with this now. I'll just leave Nevermore looking through there until we have something come up, and if he finds something, we can see if that changes our mind. Until then, we can explore north.
Alright. So every minute that Nevermore's in there, he can roll again.
Alright, I'll just leave him in there until Roscoe needs him, and again, Roscoe will kind of be holding the action to snap him back, and just kind of being led in whatever direction, or even just communicating telepathically with Nevermore as Nevermore finds things, or doesn't.
You guys, there was also a little area up here, this room with where the crypt was, that you never technically looked in, a little around the corner.
That's true. I guess we can go fill that in. Too.
Alright, well, I already know how this is going to go down. You're going to notice something, then you're going to investigate for it, and you're going to find it. So it's not that difficult. But what you find is another secret door.
While they're back in this room, Sardick will look at the decayed frescoes or the art that's in this room.
Oh yeah, there are some frescoes in there. They're much more decayed and older and more faded than the one with the dwarves. But yeah, they actually show a bunch of villagers and farmers being terrorized by giant bats. Like, it's always just one giant bat. It's different scenes of villagers being eaten and chased and otherwise terrified by this huge giant bat.
It seems that flying monstrosity is eager to get into some combat.
Oh no.
Oh, Nox.
If he thinks this is of dwarven make, but he kind of doubts that he would
Doesn't
chronicle.
look like it.
Yeah, okay, I didn't think so.
So you guys are going to be heading up the only way that you can from here, I take it.
Yeah. Can never more get another little investigation.
Yeah, go ahead and make like 10. Just roll 10 d20. Oh!
How
You
about
got
that
a
first
20
one?
right out the... Yeah.
It doesn't get better than that one, so we'll go for that.
Still keep making the other ones too. Another 20.
All
Okay,
right.
that's probably enough.
I should have just rolled like a 10d20 kind of thing, but here we are, so that's what we...
Alright, well the first thing he finds is a gem. He finds a gem in there, buried amongst the filth and muck. It's kind of hard to tell what kind of gem it is, with it being covered with like encrusted fecal matter, but after he sort of brushes some of that away, he finds that it's a Star Rose quartz. You can write that down. It's a Star Rose quartz worth 50 gold.
So technically we're not in there yet. He's just going to make like a little pile on the other side of the door of the things that he finds. So he'll just like put that just on the inside of the door. If he can even slide it under the door, then that.
He also found a tiny glass key. That seems strangely clean. And strangely unbroken. Those are the only interesting things he's found thus far.
Does the key look small enough that he could slide it under the door?
Yeah.
So Roscoe at this point will be like, oh, you know, Neville found something. Sardick, maybe the other side to that key that you have there. Let's stop back and get it. He slid it under the door for us.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so we'll stop back, and if the quartz could fit through the door, great. If not, then we'll just leave it on that side for now.
I can't.
Okay. So the quartz will be just on the other side of the door, but the key will slide on.
Alright, the key is magical.
Does it seem to work with the thing that you have there?
Sardick will compare the two keys and see if there's any sort of similitude. I'm not sure. I mean, the one I found there in that room was stone. This one seems to be glass. I wouldn't think there's any sort of connection.
Yeah, they look nothing alike. This one's glass, it's very small, and if anything, it's probably more of elven make than dwarven. And it is radiating a little bit of magic. Of the transmutation school.
I guess I never checked. Does this door here open or is it locked?
Where are you?
The one that Nevermore would have put the gem just on the other side of and slid the key under to
It's
the
open.
trash pit thing. Oh, then I'll just open it and take the gem so that we have it in the back.
All right. When you open the door, nothing happens. You get the gem.
Awesome.
I'm just going to, since he can just keep searching through there effectively infinitely. Of course, he can't.
Familiars, man. You gotta make use of them.
He finds a lot of other weird little knickknacks, but nothing that looks intrinsically valuable.
I guess if Roscoe's close, should I just run in and hold my breath and see if anything pops up? That sounds disgusting. I'm not sure I really want to do that. Yeah, if Nevermore's not going to find anything else, Roscoe will let him take a little bit of a break and sit back on the shoulder. He's
All right.
already done his job. Unless anyone feels strongly that they want to go in there. I don't think Roscoe does.
I'm good.
Katrin says, can you, like, make him detect magic?
So if you can use spells of, I think you can do touch but not self.
Yeah, you can't really.
Yeah, it's when you cast a spell of a ranged touch, you can have the familiar deliver it, but you can't have it target with a self. So I could have him be the target of like an invisibility spell that I did, but I couldn't have him be the target of a detect magic.
Alright, so he can bring all the stuff that he finds that's weird to your end of the hallway, and then you could look at it and see if any of it's magical.
You know what, Sardick, if I don't come back, please go fishing for me. Roscoe's just gonna like hold his breath and like run around the hallway, like try and see if there's anything magical in the stench area, and then run back.
Well, one moment. I mean, if you really want to risk yourself going through there, I mean, I've got good dwarven blood in my veins. I can take a bit of stench and just sort of dash in there.
True, but I can see things better. Not to be rude with that.
Well, you've got a good point there. Yes.
If I don't come back out in a minute, or even less, or if you don't hear from me, it will be like 10 seconds. You'll hear me running back. Just come get me, please. I don't want to die.
Very well.
Alright,
So yeah,
you're holding your breath, and you go
Yeah.
in there. The stench isn't really bothering you since you're holding your breath at the moment. And you look at the pile, and it's very disgusting, and there is something magical in there.
I direct Nevermore to it, and kind of help him, not like physically going in there as long as I can, but send him in the right direction and then come back out away from the stench before I have to lose.
Alright, now that you've seen where it was, you can easily sort of direct him to dig in there and get it. And he does. He's covered in all sorts of filth. And he finds a sealed glass vial that looks like it's filled with nail clippings. Like finger and toenail clippings.
Nevermore, really? That's what you found? Come on, buddy, you can do better than that.
But it is radiating magic. Divination magic, in fact.
It's sort of like how in Fable 2 you get your dog, and one of the first things that you will likely dig up with your dog is a condom.
Wow.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's great. Oh god, I love Fable.
Roscoe will take this, It's divination. Does it seem like it's attunable or not?
No. The key is magical. This thing is magical. Neither of them are attunable.
We really need some identification, don't we? I will put both of them in the bag unless anyone wants to interact with one.
And then I assume you get out of there as quickly as you can.
For sure. Roscoe is not about that gross life.
Alright, so you're not going to have to worry about it since you can hold your breath that long, no problem.
Alright, sorry for the detour. Carry on.
Katrin says, ugh, this stuff stinks so badly. Ara, could you make this stuff clean? Because it's really gross. I don't even want to think about what's on there. Are you muted?
Oh yeah, I was. She'll try to prestidigitate at least some of the stench.
Yeah, you're able to prestidigitate them clean with no difficulty. The gem and the little key and the little vial of clippings, nail clippings. All right. And I'll just make it easy for you and let you know that that's all that he's going to find in there.
Okay. I'll give him a little break for suffering through that, though he is immune to poison, so it probably wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I don't think it would bother an imp that badly, or an aberration, which is so it probably smells great to him.
Yeah, or just like no sense of smell because that's such a mortal plane sense of or sensation to have. Why would
True.
something of the far realms have smell?
So then as you guys are about to proceed further, that's where we'll end for tonight. So you guys, you made some progress tonight, I think. You did good. You found some things. So make sure you've written everything down that you found.
Has been written.
And that's where we'll stop for the night. Let me do my little outro. And yeah, hold on a sec. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Beneath the Yawning Portal, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Dungeons and Dragons. We'll see you next time.